Okay, yes, we are live. Great. Okay.
All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Samurai Reviews Live. I am your host, Kazu, and today we're diving into one of the most iconic and thrilling franchises in film history, the Jurassic Park and the Jurassic World saga. And I'm not doing this journey alone. Like always, joining me once again is a good friend of mine and a friend of the show, a massive classic movie fan, and someone who always brings sharp insights and passion for cinema. We have Ian.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wish there was like a button for applause or something. That would be great. If you've caught his past appearances, you've already know he's got a lot of love for the classics. And I couldn't think of anyone better to help break down the highs and lows and the lasting legacies of these films. So strap in from Spielberg's original masterpiece to the latest installment, Rebirth. We're going to cover it all, so let's get started. All right, so we're gonna just start off with the first one and kind of work our way to the old to the new.
Sounds
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Good.
So, Jurassic Park came out in 1993. That is.
Oh, was it that long ago?
Yeah, that is older than me personally. I was 94, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
it's
Oh, so
crazy.
you didn't get to
So
see
it's
it like
like-
in the theaters when it came out?
No, not at all.
Oh, I did. I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
How old were you at that point?
I'd
Were
rather
you
not say. No, I'm just kidding.
were
I
you
was
like 6 or
9.
8?
Yeah.
Cool. Man, I wish I would have been able to see that. 8 years old going into a theaters
It
and
was
watching
fun.
Jurassic
It was
Park.
fun. It was a little scary.
What do you think made the original Jurassic Park so timeless? Was it the characters, the direction? What do you have like, or is there like multiple things?
I think it was
okay.
multiple things.
Lay it out.
So, I mean, it was a different time, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, the special effects were amazing. They were groundbreaking at the time, right? So
I still
remember
think
there
it's
was a lot
groundbreaking.
of talk about it, how they made the effects, how they did like the practical effects. First of all, they had the source material. I think they just had a really solid screenplay. You know, I think they had a well-paced story. I think they had good set pieces, memorable, likable characters. And like a world that felt kind of lived in. Like the dinosaurs were, I think they were like animals as much as they were monsters in that film, you know? And they weren't the only threat, right? So, and I think, of course, the score by John Williams was incredible. And I think aside from like, you know, the major, like the theme song everybody knows, I feel like the score all the way around throughout that film was the most memorable. Because I still find myself, I'm probably in the minority, but I find myself like humming like, like parts of different parts of it too. Like,
not
yeah,
even just the main theme.
Yeah, not even just the main theme. Like the part where Nedry's like stealing the embryos and stuff,
Yeah.
and like the little musical cues, and I just, it was so tightly done.
Yeah, that's our next question. So, but I 100% agree. I don't think you can't, for the original Jurassic Park of 1993, you can't really say it's just one thing, because I think everything worked together in that film to make it how it is.
Totally, yeah, absolutely.
And just give it that cinematic narrative storytelling with the entertainment, and just like it's just an overall good balance from the characters, like I said, the direction. You say the CGI, but I say the practical effects.
Yes,
you know, to
absolutely.
it, like the balance between the CGI and the practical effects, and just the overall just sense of awe. You know, in the world that they created.
Yeah.
I didn't know until later on it was actually based off of a book.
Yeah, my
So,
brother read that book.
That was like a very reveal to me.
I
And
kind of want to read that book now.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
So, to me, I'm just like, I can't believe they came up with this idea kind of thing, and then, and then realizing it was a book, and then got adapted, to the live screen. I was even impressed by that transition from the book to the live screen. I think all the steps were just right, and Steven Spielberg just was the guy for it.
Yeah, he
Honestly,
knocked it out of the
I don't
park.
think there was anybody else that could have done it better. And then going to the score, I think, like you said, each moment and the different parts of the movie was on purpose. It was intentional. And I love that of John Williams making the score for this movie, because every bit of it, even like the music, was intentional. I love any score that is intentional that way.
Same, yeah.
Right now,
absolutely.
I feel like modern movies, they're just throwing things left and right, and I don't think they understand how much music affects, the movie overall.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, actually. I feel like there's way too much of that.
Way too much noise.
Yeah, where music's not necessarily a character that
Yeah.
progresses every scene, and is thought out to that extent. There's like a whole video just on like his score, like that was really good that I watched. Nerd that I am.
So
in that movie,
right. So, it was probably very important and shaped the emotional impacts of the film, right? Like his score. Do you have any examples?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So like. I'm kind of riffing off of the video I watched.
Yeah.
But like the way that they build to the theme, and they don't play it until that moment where they see the dinosaurs in all their splendor in that field.
The
brachiosaurs grazing. Yeah, before that they have like the fanfare when they're coming like through the mountains on the helicopter, which is great. But they save the actual theme for when they behold the dinosaurs for the very first time, which I thought was really great.
The build-up to it.
And then they use it sparingly.
They do. We watched it, we rewatched it, and when you pointed that out, I was like, yeah, they actually don't go back to that every single time moving forward after that reveal, which I feel like most modern films do that, and they just keep throwing it back, and I'm just like, okay, no, like
less is more.
Less means more, less tells more.
Absolutely.
And the sound score does that for sure.
Absolutely.
And I think John Williams just hits it out of the park. Great duo between Spielberg and John Williams.
Yeah. And the sound effects too, like I remember watching. At the time, it was like really popular watching like videos like behind the scenes and stuff. It was so interesting how they did the sound effects of like the T-Rex, like the most iconic dinosaurs, which still are the T-Rex and the Velociraptors, right? And the way that they like layered sounds in order to create their unique sounds. And even the Dilophosaur had like its own sound, that little like chirping noise that it makes as it's like running through. Like everything felt so different and unique, and I thought that was really cool, but treacherous in its own way. But that iconic scene with like the water and the shock waves and the T-Rex in the rain, man, I
wonder what that process of trying to create those different sounds, if they actually brought in like a scientist or something to be like, okay, this is how it would be like close to, or just like identical to that sound kind of thing, or
I think they just kind of threw
Hollywood-
stuff at a
if they
wall.
just Hollywood it,
because they like for the Velociraptor, was the Velociraptor or the T-Rex? I don't know. There was like a lion in there, and there was like a sea lion in there, or no, it was like they're different animals that they like blended together.
Together. I'm curious.
They did a really good job, though.
I do have a friend who's just a fanatic with dinosaurs, So I got to get his opinion on that. If like,
I would like to hear his opinion as well.
I wish I would have brought him on as the other guest. Do you think this first film's commentary on science and ethics still resonates today, or has it aged differently?
Oh no, I think it's like pretty some like timeless. The moral of the story, I think, is pretty timeless, and I think it all applies to science today. Like, even though we don't know if like that science would actually work, like the principles behind it, behind like playing God and not basically like showing enough reverence to to the science, is like a common pitfall in like genetic engineering and things like that. I'm no geneticist,
Yeah,
but I see that there is like this idea that scientists will do something just to see if they can. And then they'll try to profit something before they like understand it very well.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I 100% agree. What's great about this film is that I think it takes four, probably even more, but four defiant, like, different takes on science in this film.
True.
Because we have
Chaos theory.
the chaos theory.
You gotta talk about chaos
We
theory.
have the anthropologist like side of the whole thing of just like, hey, maybe we should have kept it in the ground and actually like study through there. And then we have the corporate science part of it of just like, hey, this is revolutionary, we can make money and bank off of this. And then there's the person who's like, if somebody's not going to do it, somebody will. If I'm not going to do it, somebody else will, kind of thing.
Sure.
So there are scientists like that, and I'm just like, wow, like
Well, and then you have like the idealist scientist who wants to do it, for the splendor and the discovery of it, and not necessarily profit motivated. But and it's interesting because Hammond, laments that everyone is against him at the table, but they all have slightly different reasons for for their concern about the park, which all turn out to be legitimate.
And I love how it kind of just meshes them together, which makes like a very thrilling, engaging scene, even when they're sitting at the dinner table, and they're eating food, like they're having a conversation where I can be fully engaged in.
Yeah, totally. I love that scene.
So even like those slow parts, like I feel like there's weight to what they're saying.
Yeah, well, it's like developing the characters in a way that's not just an exposition dump, right? You learn more and more about, and even their interactions, like in the car, like when like Alan's talking to Timmy and he's all enthusiastic, or when like Ian Malcolm is like hitting on Ellie, like all that stuff like tells you things about the characters and like their motivations and like where they come from, like the way they view the world. I love that. I love
how they intertwine that viewpoint into their characters. I think that was great.
Absolutely.
How did the blend of practical effects and early CGI kind of change the way audiences view visual effects in blockbuster filmmaking? Probably like back then, and then now. So let's kind of like separate the two.
I'm not an expert, but I think that really kind of opened the door for like people being receptive to like CGI in movies. But the way that he did it, like with the use of practical effects, was quite effective, I think, because he did use CGI, but it actually holds up pretty well if you go back and look at it now. And then there were movies that were just like so heavily dependent on CGI and they didn't use it so much as a tool but as a crutch. And the movie's the worst for it, right? So it did open those doors in a, I think it had like a kind of a double-edged sword effect. Like we had a glut of like CGI only movies that were terrible, and then some that were not so bad, because you had like Lord of the Rings employed it pretty well.
That's true. I guess the spectacle of just like how convenient CGI kind of turned out to be made it grow to take practical effects away. But I think the point of Jurassic Park, the original, is like the best movies are the ones that can balance both practical and visual, like CGI effects.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you want to feel like it's grounded in reality and you're really there, right? And it's not just stuff on your screen, which sometimes is what it feels like now.
Yeah. You need to have some sense of magic, through that CGI, but you also need to ground it with the practical effects. And I think Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park, does just a hands down well job of balancing that for sure.
Agreed.
One of the many, one of the few that does that really well. Do you think the film work is more a science fiction cautionary tale or just an adventure spectacle?
I think it's both.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's definitely a cautionary tale. I mean, I think that's like the story they're trying to tell over and over again, because it's like the same thing happens in, over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, not always the same way, but like Jurassic World is definitely like a repeat of Jurassic Park in that it's like, oh, we think we've got it all figured out this time. We're not going to make the same mistakes as them. And then there's always something.
Always something happens.
Yeah. And it's always something that they fail to respect in a way, right?
That's true. That's where what's his name, Jeff? What's his character's name? It just totally lost.
Owen? Owen?
No.
The new characters kind of have forgettable names.
Alan Grant, the Chaos.
Oh, Ian Malcolm.
Ian Malcolm, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where Ian Malcolm's side, comes in very well. Of just like, hey.
Yeah, he comes off as kind of anti-dinosaur later.
We're playing God. We shouldn't have played God, kind of thing.
Yeah. Nature's rectifying its mistake.
Yeah.
These creatures need to go.
It's crazy. I just love the battle between Alan Malcolm, Ian Grant, Ellie, coming in, and anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that goes on to the next thing. Which character's perspective resonates most with you and why?
Oh, okay. Oh man, I didn't know you'd throw me a curveball. I mean, maybe Alan Grant. He seems like the most grounded because he basically says there's too many unknown variables. He's like, these creatures haven't been around he's like, we're throwing them into the mix. We don't have the slightest idea what to expect.
Yeah.
So, I feel like that was like a pretty balanced view. He wasn't as negative as Hammond made it out to be. But Hammond wanted like a resounding endorsement. Be like, yes, let's sell dinosaurs. Let's do this thing. Yeah.
And then he was the one that it wasn't him. It was the attorney was the one that brought Ian Malcolm.
Yeah. Ian. Yeah. As an expert.
Which is crazy because like the whole point of that movie was just like, we need some scientists that come in and say yes, give you that confirmation.
Yeah, and they want a high profile one.
The
apparently,
attorney is playing against him, kind of thing, in the beginning.
Right, and that's why he brought Ian.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden throughout you have Ellie, Ian, and Alan teaming up, and then now it's the attorney and Hammond, even though they were the ones, in the beginning.
Yeah, because he sees dollar signs.
I love how that switch,
yeah,
happened throughout. It just shows there is character development, right, in the dialogue, in the discussion, and throughout the course of Jurassic Park, and I think that's great about it. I personally.
Yeah, which character do you identify with?
The perspective that resonates with me most. I would never get along with him ever in my life.
It's gonna be Ian,
but
isn't it?
It's gonna be Ian. Yeah.
My namesake. Yeah.
I think dinosaurs should just have been in the past. And,
yeah.
Just not even. Don't even touch it.
Right.
Because there is so many variables.
Yeah. Well, and he comes down hard on like the scientists,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's like,
Who's going to predict this? Who's going to predict that?
yeah.
One way it's going to flow this way, and then all of a sudden you're going to try to do it again, and it's going to flow this way. You think it would happen this way, but it's,
Yeah.
Anyway,
And then the
just-
second time, this is spoiler alert for
Right.
the movie that you're also going to talk about that came out like 20 years later. As they go to do it again, they become so complacent that they're trying to like do something more exciting. So, which we'll, I'm sure, talk about.
Oh man. What would you rate this movie?
I give this movie
Last
like a
one.
solid 9.5. I think it's a really good movie.
I agree. I think it's it's pretty close to perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty close to perfect.
It's pretty close to perfect. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. I do think there were a few shots that I was just like, and most of those were like the merchandise type things. Like I get it, they were trying to show off a little bit of.
Oh,
the
like in the gift shop.
Yeah,
when
and
they
stuff,
showed like
and I'm
that,
just all
yeah.
like okay, like that's. It's a little you're
On the nose.
Yeah, on the nose. You're kind of shoving it in my face. At that point.
I feel like it made sense to like have it in the gift shop, but I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Like I was like, what would bring it to a 10 for you? That's what I want to know.
More simplicity. Like if they could have been at the gift shop, but maybe like at a distance,
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just right there in front of
the
screen, kind of
just panning
onto the
it
side,
over all the dinosaur merch.
to then reveal like the actual like scene.
Yeah.
Maybe interacting, the kids interacting with it or something, rather than like in the face. But just
That's
yeah.
for sure.
Other than that, there was that's about it. I thought
Yeah, and I think this movie didn't like overdo it on the action.
Yeah.
I think it was spaced throughout it in an
Right.
effective way, right?
to me that shot was like one of those like those random cute creatures that they create in like Star Wars.
Yeah,
that you're
yeah.
Just like, okay,
to
well,
clearly
now
to
they're just,
sell.
Now
Yeah.
they're just gonna merchandise that.
I can't remember
and
what the
sell
ones
it.
were from the Last Jedi. The little cute
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
eyes. Yeah. Gosh, someone's
It's
gonna
kind of like
someone's gonna
that,
tell me.
where I'm just like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Please.
Like,
but-
come on. But even that like scene between like Hammond and Ellie, where he's talking about like how he started out, I thought that was like a really effective scene at like
was.
exploring some of Hammond's motivation.
Yeah. I like the
Yeah.
the conversation between them, but that shot in the beginning before panning over, like why?
Right, that
I
was the
get
same
it's
scene.
in the gift shop,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
like, was it necessary for that?
So just cut
to
that scene
happen
and it'd be a 10.
with like that conversation because
Right.
it just never connected.
That's
that way.
true.
So
That's true.
I'm like, I get it. I get why it's there. Just maybe a little tone it down a little bit, but that's just more of me. How I see things. It's like branding the Lord of the Rings. Like they're not gonna keep showing the ring, all the time, and
Yeah.
you're gonna see it bits here and there and that sort of stuff. But
Are there any things you'd change about the movie? Here's that. Because I've thought about this before.
that is a good question. Besides that, I would have maybe added it to a different, location of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when we're introducing like the kids, his grandkids coming in, or is it his niece
Yeah.
and nephews? Or
No, they're his
his
grandkids.
grandkids, yeah. Maybe they were exploring the gift shop and then like left, and then that's where you kind of like get the
Okay.
gift shop kind of thing, right? But I think that's, if anything, I think I don't know. No, I liked all the action parts of it. I love the clever girl kind of thing.
Yeah.
On all the
I-
callbacks and just like the round Like he even like Alan Grant even guessed it too. Like he's like, this is how they attack. And
Right,
this
right.
is like what
and
they do.
and Muldoon wasn't there for that
So
conversation.
that's what happens.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I don't know how to stop that. But...
That's okay. Yeah, and as someone pointed out once, Muldoon wasn't there for that conversation, but he did observe them like in their pen, but he never observed them hunting, right? So it kind of makes sense as to why. But he didn't seem too shocked by it.
Yeah.
Right, because he was like, but he like underestimated his ability to react in time.
For sure.
And I feel like his character was a little wasted because I really liked him. But I don't know how they could have drawn. They would have had to like drawn that scene out somehow, which I would have loved. But this was like a time before we had like extended editions,
For
which
sure.
I totally would have watched.
I would have actually loved an extended version of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm. What since you've thought of this, what do you think?
That was the main thing, yeah. As Muldoon just like getting off too soon. But I do like the fact that he was hunting the one, and then the other one comes up, and then and then it's a callback to when Grant says the other raptor you didn't even know was there, you know. So the other one was just like bait. It was just sitting there.
I did like the character. I wish he would have fought and stayed a little bit more. Yeah.
Totally.
Or at least like shown what happened to him. But I guess that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, and the same thing kind of with Samuel L. Jackson's character, Mr. Armstrong. Yeah.
Armstrong, yeah.
Yeah. And how he dies off screen.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think he should have shut down the system? Do you think that was the right play?
I think it was, but I think they could have done it way better. As far as like more tactical.
Yeah.
To make it so that everybody could have survived instead of just going out by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because
I think you're at that point, like if you should be smart enough, being that you're able to work with computers and like logistics and math, like you can calculate that like you're not going to survive by yourself out there.
Well, I think what he failed to take into mind, he's thinking like the shed is just so close by, but he didn't realize that it turned off the raptor pens.
Yeah.
And he's not the raptor guy, so he wasn't thinking about that. And then there was another callback. This movie was actually so well written, which is the fact that the raptors are constantly testing the pen.
Yeah.
Which makes sense why they were able to know when the electricity was shut off. They probably heard it, sensed it, but she had them testing it all the time just for like weaknesses. So it makes sense that they're not like the fleas, right? They hit their heads and
but I mean,
analogy.
like the guy could have, said, be like, hey, I'm actually concerned because like if you shut down the whole system, that means the raptor cage.
Yeah, and he had a little of those concerns in the beginning because remember he was like didn't want to do it. Yeah, and then
they
Hammond's
eventually
like
do
people
it,
are dying,
and
and then he's like, "Would you please shut down the system?"
So
yeah,
buddy system. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
But
buddy system.
Either way, it could have worked with like instead of Ellie's character, or like all three of them could have gone, and then Samuel L. Jackson character could have got ripped off one way, and then the raptor guy could have got ripped off the other way, and overall it's like it's gonna end the same. I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. What'd you think of Gennaro's character, the lawyer?
Oh, I thought he was great.
he was a bit one note. He was like the stereotypical greedy lawyer, and I think
I thought he flipped so hard, and I think some people are like that. So I think him in the beginning when he comes to talk to those people that are on the island that are mining and stuff, and he's no, I need to see the hard stuff. Like I can't see all this back end thing. I'm not gonna give you all the money for it or that
right. He needs to see what's going on.
So then he finally sees it and he's like, oh my god, like I love that instant flip.
Yeah. From threatening to shut him down to like, we're going to make a fortune with this place.
Totally, Sage just runs away from the kids, you know, doesn't even care about them, and then hides in the bathroom, and then the irony of just like the bathroom gets destroyed and he gets eaten. He's the first one that gets
It's
eaten
Ian's
up.
fault, but yeah.
So.
Ian led him right. Ian led the T-Rex right to him. But yeah, I know. I used to think, I was like, oh man, that guy's like such a coward. But they didn't make him
realistically,
out to be
I feel like that's somebody. That's
Yeah.
what an attorney would do. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, you know, he could dish it out, but he can't take it. And that, I always thought he was hiding out in the bathroom, but then someone, I can't remember who it was, made the comment that like when you're really scared, sometimes you have to like use the bath. So because he was sitting on the toilet when the T-Rex came in there, so I'm thinking maybe he like evacuated his bowels, but. So
I don't know if you
I don't know. Sympathy for.
I think it's the idea of like
for Gennaro.
If he can't see me, like if I can't see him, he can't see me.
Oh, where he closes his eyes?
Yeah.
That was just his last ditch attempt at this can't be happening kind of thing. Yeah, that's right. Because he's like bleary eyed, and then he's just like
So.
But I do also love. I think we have to talk about this before we move on.
You're good.
Is the whole dynamic between Grant and the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exploring that. And kind of... I do kind of like the fact that it didn't, like, turn him into, like, wanting
even
kids
a bigger
overnight.
Monster, yeah.
But it did... I think it did soften him a bit, and it wasn't, like, an important part of his character arc. And then the whole thing with the kids being, like, traumatized was believable, which made the whole thing feel more real. Like, I love the part where the girl's like, he left us.
Yeah.
Which is totally what kids would do. Like, if the adult that was with them just abandoned them in this, like, life or death situation. It was the whole way that there was, like, less is more with that scene. You know, there wasn't, like, you know, people using rocket launchers and machine guns against this T-Rex. It was just fairly like small interaction, but the way that it was shot with like the rain and like the atmosphere, and the kids, like it was just.
I definitely
terrifying.
think the kids side of the thing worked because of Ellie's character and Alan's character. For sure with Alan's characters, right? And then. I don't think the kids would have been necessary to the story if it wasn't
true
for the adults that were there, rather than in like the later ones that we'll talk about. Like there's no point in having kids in the films. It's just like
I know exactly where you're going with this.
This one it felt like kids had to be there.
Right. Instead of like they're trying to make a recipe for the same one. They're like, okay, we got to have the kids, we got to have this, we got to have that.
We got to tie in the young kids, so they can watch it as well, and they feel like they're enjoying this Jurassic experience like we did as kids or something like that. Like I think the focus of why the kids was there was based off of a story rather than based off of audience engagement.
Right.
And I think that's why it worked.
The kids were there to move the story ahead and not the other way around. Yeah. And then sometimes it feels like they always try to like recreate the elements of the first successful film, like as if it's a recipe, like I said, like that lightning in a bottle. But I don't think you can do that.
No, unless you're able to find a reason like a good reason why the kids was there. It's like, of course he's going to invite his grandkids to see like this Jurassic Park kind of thing. Like,
before everybody else.
He's like a billionaire.
Yeah, and it's safe.
That's like, I can do everything, whatever I want. Just leave the kids to me, to this amazing Jurassic Park. So it makes sense that the kids were there.
Yeah, and to their credit, they didn't do that like the first outing, like in the first sequel. They didn't immediately do the same thing again. Well, they kind of did, actually. Now I think I forgot about the girl.
Right.
But yeah, the whole shoot, what were we talking about? I just kind of lost my train of thought. About the
No, I liked
kids at the
what
park.
you said, that the kids moved the story forward, though.
Yeah, I think they did.
Rather than just there.
Yeah, and they served a purpose, right?
So
I like that the kid was actually like Timmy was like a fan of Alan's.
mm-hmm.
That was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That he was into dinosaurs. And then the girl being a hacker was a little bit, convenient.
Magic. But I mean,
But it works.
it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have an issue with that.
Yeah. No, I think it was well done. And I like the whole, really the crux of the film. I really like how they handled the T-Rex in the beginning, which is like the major threat.
Oh, yeah.
And then the velociraptors in like the third act, which are the, more immediate, like on the ground threat. And I feel like they kind of copied that formula going forward, where it's always like raptor heavy at the end. But the raptors,
And it overall just becomes a raptor thing.
yeah, exactly. And they kind of overdid it, and then they kind of overdo the raptors, and then
And then they occasionally overdo the T-Rex.
right. Ugh, we won't even.
Well,
We'll
get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, solid first movie, Jurassic Park original, 1993. We'll move on to the next one, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, that came out in 1997. So it's 4 years later.
4 years later, when they didn't make movies 2 years,
2
after,
years
after the original.
After the original one, or even a year after the original. The Lost World is also based off of the book.
Very loosely.
But I haven't read it myself, but I've been told by a lot of people it's not even close.
Right. It's a huge departure, which I think it probably suffers for it.
So, I guess we can start with that conversation. With why do you think they made it so loose in the second book compared to like the first one, which seemed to be a little bit more closer to
the book? That's a good question. I think it has to do with like thinking they know what the audience wants, and to be honest, and then trying to make it like a sequel or trying to make it like their own movie. And thinking like, oh, this book is a great book, but I don't think it would adapt very well. And I think I haven't read the book, so I can't really like comment on this. But I feel like if they had made it more like the book, it would have been better. Because I heard that book was pretty
yeah, I heard that book was pretty epic, and I think.
And there's some really silly things in this movie, so
there is.
There's some weird like pacing issues too. I feel like
there is.
Yeah.
The Lost World leaned more into spectacle than the first film's layered storytelling. Do you think that shift hurt or helped the franchise at the time?
I think it hurt it, but because how long was it between that one and the third one?
The third one? So the third one came out 2021. So
5 years? No, I can't do math. It's 4 years.
It's about another 4 years.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't.
Because I remember coming out of that movie and everybody thinking like the whole T-Rex rampage through San Diego was like a bit silly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the skeptic in me would say that it hurt it to have it be, but I'm a person who believes that like
I can't remember, was it
the spectacle should serve the story and not just be there for the sake of spectacle. So
I can't remember, Steven Spielberg was the one that also directed.
He actually, yeah, I believe so. I don't know if he had help or not, but yeah, it was directed by Steven Spielberg.
So
just like the first one. So
I don't know. It's kind of hard. That shift, I don't think neither helped nor took away from the franchise at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was very much of a what's our priority
Mm-hmm.
kind of shift.
Yeah.
Right. Which turned out to be like, oh, this is more of a blockbuster movie rather than a type of like.
I feel like the first one was a blockbuster. It just didn't. It was back in a day where people didn't have like just constant action. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, even like the Terminator movie, was like.
That's true. There was a lot of slow parts in the Terminator movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Of course, Terminator 2 had a lot more action in it, so I guess it was. You're right. It was kind of a sequel formula, and they did it well. So.
That's the better one.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of people who really like the first one, but yeah, I feel like it is the better one. So, but I digress. Like, I feel like the second one had like a lot of good elements, but I don't think they were necessarily like tied together all that well. But there were things that I liked about it. There were things that didn't make any sense.
Yeah. I don't know what they could have done differently. I would just have to put a little bit more time and thought into, creating.
Oh, for sure.
A better way to kind of execute the movie a little bit more to bring a little bit more payoff and instead of like a go type of energy that I got with The Lost World. But like I said, I don't think it hurt nor helped the franchise with switching from spectacle from storytelling. It hurt me personally because I love storytelling. I love storytelling.
Yeah, I agree.
From the first one.
I'm being biased.
So, but like studio wise, I don't think it hurt them at all.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of like The Craft. Like it hurt the direction that the movies went into. That went in. Like it set a precedent. But in terms of like the studio, I don't think it hurt their bottom line at all.
No, not at all.
And I just feel like if you look at like the storyline of the first one, I feel like it's just so much tighter, in terms of all the different elements that come together. Then the second one feels a lot looser of like a concept.
I have a review on this out already, like a short review of The Lost World on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But I do mention that in the second film, it switches from dinosaurs push the story forward in the first film compared to the second one where it's like dinosaurs are just obstacles at this point, right? So with that approach versus dinosaurs as catalysts for character, like how do you feel about the whole dinosaurs as obstacles approach versus dinosaurs as catalysts for character growth like in the first movie?
I feel like that's a big part of why it doesn't quite work for me.
How it doesn't resonate with you.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, how do I put this? Like, I feel like in terms of, like, if the movie is a thread, then the first one's like a thread that, like, coils around, in a map in a certain way. And if the second movie is, it just kind of just keeps going one direction. And you just, like, throwing plot points or, like, obstacles. Dinosaurs as obstacles in its path, it just kind of goes wherever, instead of being this thing that like references back to itself and then has like this whole like cohesive feel to it where just a bunch of stuff that happens.
I love the payoffs in the first one where we talked about how Alan Grant said these are how raptors react, and then we got that live.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Right?
Little things.
Where in the second film, I don't think we've ever. It was more just like we had a guy throw in dinosaur facts every once in a while.
True.
Kind of thing, but it was never.
And even like the motivations of like the heroes, the protagonists, and the villains.
Yeah.
You know, I felt were like kind of like meh. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
in the first one, they made a lot of sense.
So having like the first film kind of just be like top tier, 9 out of 10, up here, 9.5, and then all of a sudden the second film comes out and it kind of just like it drops quite a bit for me.
Yeah.
Because of that reason of the feel of dinosaurs as obstacles, approach versus dinosaurs as catalysts for the character growth. And I think that's where like we need to revert back to, to build character in the end.
Yeah.
With dinosaurs.
I agree.
Because I think the reveal of dinosaurs and throughout the whole part of being with them out there, having to survive out there, experience like close attack with a T-Rex, and stuff, really gave perspective on kids, right? Like,
sure,
in the first film, how terrifying it was.
Yeah.
Even Alan, Grant with like doesn't care about anything else. Because I feel like as a dinosaur guy, he'll be like, oh wow, like a T-Rex, like I'm encountering like this, him living his natural habitat and attacking the kids, but instead he's just like, oh gosh, like I need to help these kids.
Yeah.
Really, like,
he's got his priorities straight.
Yeah, really changed. They changed the character. Well, in the second one, I don't know. There's like, oh wow, this little dinosaur, like, he's just exploring what you are, if you're a threat or not, and stuff. And then he just like zaps the little thing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He's all like, well, now he should fear.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, where's the character growth in that kind of thing?
Well, they had a bunch of disposable villains, which kind of lends to the whole idea of like more action, more
I guess
people.
That's true.
More people to die that you don't care about. But there wasn't a lot of like conversations, even like in the first one, that I feel like drove character development.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a lot of those moments, those like in between moments, like where they're sitting and talking. I mean, even like little moments that like drive villain development. I mean, they had a few of them in the movie, but I just didn't think they landed very well. Like with I can't remember who the main guy's name is, like Hammond's sorry, these characters.
Yeah. The other billionaire that takes over the projects.
Yeah. Him and the warden guy that Peter Postlewhite's character.
Yeah, the poacher that goes out and tries to bring the dinosaurs back.
I do like the moment where the poacher like is successful and he's sad because his friend is dead. Like, I thought that was kind of like a nice little detail. It kind of humanized him a little bit. Or he's like pissed off. Remember that? Yeah.
At first, I'm just like, wow, I'm actually going to hate this guy, but then I don't.
Yeah,
in the end.
He's actually.
I feel like that's the only one that I was like, okay.
That's a credit to that actor, because he's a phenomenal actor. I've seen in many things. So there was that. Some of the like characters' motivations, like trying to save this baby T-Rex, but putting everybody's life in danger, it was kind of infuriating.
Even the kids, like the kid that ran away, like they're bringing it back to their little camp out, and it's like, why would you do that if there's like a little kid on the premise that's there?
There were things I liked about it, like that whole scene with the T-Rex and the bus like going over the cliff was kind of cool. Like, it was kind of exciting.
It was. I did like the two double T-Rex, idea of just like a mom and pa kind of like trying to rescue their baby kind of thing. I also did not like that, because I'm just like, oh, they're just trying to up the game of.
You like one T-Rex? Now there's two T-Rexes. Yeah, they didn't really have to have that. And I think it was raining again.
Yeah.
So it was like they were trying to recreate a little bit of that.
Uh-huh.
I do like that they actually. This is one of the things I didn't like as much about the first film, is they actually had like a character that you like die horribly.
Yeah.
And then because they broke that whole thing of like only the bad guys die, which is something they actually kind of did in the first one. But it was told well enough that you didn't really notice unless you were paying attention that only like the jerks died. Like, well, no, Mr. Armstrong dies, but it was like off camera.
Yeah.
So well, no, Muldoon dies, but like the way that guy was heroically sacrifices himself.
He just gets lifted and then
just gets torn
gets
apart
tossed by the two.
I really liked his character.
I
thought he was one of his whole scene, like struggling, and I thought that was actually a really well done scene. Where he's like had to tie the thing around, and it breaks, and then he just keeps working at it, even though the danger is getting closer and closer. I also like the fact that he could tell that the T-Rexes were coming. Like there were sounds, there were things that were going on. And then later in the franchise, they just get to this whole like stealth T-Rex thing where they're just there, like out of nowhere all the time as like a plot contrivance where it's like suddenly there's a T-Rex there, which happens more times than I can count.
Yeah, that was my favorite scene is when they left the kid up in the trees in the little hut, and then they were dealing with trying to survive.
Yeah, that was smart to leave her up in the tree
right,
thing.
but like a scene without the kid was probably my favorite scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, the whole everybody hates the whole gymnast thing, and I thought it was pretty cringe as well. And watching it for the second time, like I always thought that as a kid, like the whole idea of like more raptors and like them chasing them around the thing. But I liked it a little bit less watching it this time because they seemed like more comical. Like if you were to change like the music behind it, they seemed a little less threatening because there were more of them, and they were doing things like shutting a door and then like going around it, and then like this thing would like eat you for lunch and just like jump across, and
it was like
yeah, it's like Benny Hill.
Yeah.
And I feel like they also didn't look as good. I feel like they might have been CGI raptors or something, I think they might have gone cheaper on the raptors. It felt like that's just my.
Either way, like they
instinct.
built raptors to be so smart, but then in the second film they're not really that.
They're not really that smart, which I do like. On the third film, they kind of went back to that. Yeah, and had less raptors but smarter raptors, and then they give their raptors their due.
Mm-hmm.
There were some set pieces I like. I did like the whole thing about the wounded guy getting killed by the compies because they're just opportunistic scavengers and I kind of like the poetic justice. He was like tasing them, and then they just all and the fact that they would like attack, that was a little bit horrifying when I watched that like as a teenager, like where they would like attack him and he's like pulling the one that's like biting his lip off. Yeah. And then he's able to like keep him at bay for a little while, but they just keep following him because they know sooner or later he's gonna. That close
collapse. Shot of the water running red.
Yeah, I like it when they do things like that are like less is more.
Yeah.
And the thing with the guy with the coral snake getting snatched out of the waterfall by the T-Rex, that was kind of a cool scene.
I like how they incorporated new stuff, new elements, like those types of shots, like of the water running red, or just like one T-Rex comes down, opens its mouth, and then the other T-Rex comes down and you see its eye kind of thing. Like those shots, like I feel like, okay, that was another elevated element of like cinematography side of things, and that's why in this movie it wasn't like a huge drop off, but it was like significant enough because it did lack story a bit, but it was entertaining, and had great elements to it.
What did you think about the cast overall? Do you think this cast was as effective as the previous cast? Like, especially with Ian Malcolm being the protagonist in this one versus sort of Alan Grant being.
Yeah. I think Ian Malcolm will never be the main character in a Jurassic Park saga or Jurassic World franchise.
And rightfully so. Yeah.
So trying to make him the main character didn't make any sense to me at all.
I agree. I think it's like trying to make Jack Sparrow the main character. It's like a seasoning. They're great as a supporting character, But when you make him the main character, it doesn't really work.
So, you know, I was okay with bringing him back. Sure, like I was like, yeah, I guess that works. But then on top of that, like the daughter, you know, comes randomly in and hid in the RV the entire time.
Yeah, that was.
That
she's
kind
over
of
there,
like
making
that kind of
breakfast.
lost me. I was just like, no, I don't care.
Why does a kid have to be in every film? Yeah, and they just didn't make you care about them quite as much as I feel like they did the kids in the first film.
Yeah.
And then that whole rampage to San Diego felt a little bit tacked on.
Yeah,
to be honest.
That was my next question.
And the inexplicable, everybody's dead on this ship that only had a T-Rex on it.
That was caged.
That was caged. But, like, well, at some point, they imply that it got loose and they somehow got it back in. And because the guy's hand was on the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And his hand's, like, it's just his hand, I think. His arm is pushing the button closed.
Yeah, but how did
it, like, kill the captain in the small cabin,
yeah,
you know, where his
without any damage?
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. I heard that in the original script there was, like, also, like, a raptor or something that got loose.
Oh, see, that would make sense.
And that would have actually made that make sense. But now it doesn't make any sense. It's just like it's just kind of nonsense.
Yeah. And I think at that point, the baby T-Rex was too baby enough to even do that. Like take a raptor's place.
Well, the baby was somewhere else, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean, like, it's somewhere safe. They had to ask the guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that,
it wasn't
I
on
can't
the ship.
even... Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't the baby T-Rex. Yeah, it's...
Now that just makes me question even more.
Right? Right? I know. It's kind of asinine.
So... Yeah, that would have been... Yeah, so just bringing the dinosaurs to the city, it just didn't work for us.
No.
Because the question is, did bringing dinosaurs to the city work for you?
No. And the answer is no.
Or did it just feel out of place in the Jurassic Saga?
Yeah, I think
it could have worked. I definitely think it could have worked.
Yeah, I think there's a way you could have done it correctly.
Just not the way that they did.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely just rushed it in the end, I feel like.
Yeah, it did feel a little rushed.
Skipped over and glossed over a lot of, like, something I feel like they could have put a little bit more time into to make it even just more smooth and rounded.
Yeah, cohesive. Yeah.
But
also, I did like the whole thing with the raptors in the tall grass. I thought that was kind of cool, that whole image of them, the way that they introduced the raptors.
So like there are good parts in this film.
Yeah,
that I was just like, oh, that's so cool. It's just all the in between parts.
It's the vehicle. Yeah.
It could have flowed a little bit better.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
Instead of, I don't know, those in between scenes, I feel like were more of like a cock block. Right?
Yeah.
Like the Jurassic Park.
That's a great way to put it.
It's like it builds on top of each other till it gets to like this grand, spectacle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I agree.
But this one, it's like, oh yeah, we're getting somewhere, and then it's like, okay, oh yeah, that was fun, and then it kind of goes down. It's like, okay.
Well, and some of the infuriating like actions by the main characters, like endangering themselves, like her with like the shirt with the T-Rex blood and like that whole thing, just like getting people killed, like just I don't know, it just didn't seem.
Yeah. Well, obviously the Lost World had a darker tone to it. Does that darker tone of the Lost World make it stand out, or does it clash too much with the spirit of the original?
I don't mind the darker tone.
I don't mind the darker tone.
Yeah. I don't think that was the main problem with it.
I agree.
Yeah, and I heard like the score was like a little bit more like jungly and whatnot. It wasn't quite as memorable, but it had its moments as well. So I kind of liked that. I kind of liked some of that. darkness.
First thing
The
that
darkness.
they definitely could have done better, get rid of the kid.
Yeah.
In that second film.
I agree.
It was not necessary. Ian Malcolm would have been Ian Malcolm either way.
Yeah.
On the island without the daughter being there.
Agreed.
And then, yeah, that would have been like my first fix.
Yeah.
And that would have
Same.
just made it like a point better, you know. Other than that, the ending, a little bit more towards the ending, like the dinosaurs being rampaging around LA, or was it San Diego? San Diego.
Yeah.
It could have worked.
Yeah.
Maybe added a little bit more those in between scenes before throwing a boat crashing into a dock.
Yeah. Where it's not slowing down.
Yeah.
And the comical parts, like with it
Yeah, you
eating
could
a
have
dog.
brought a little bit more of a darker tone to it.
True.
Right?
True. Yeah, because they had like these weird. Yeah, it was like mixed bag because they had that. I mean, it was kind of funny at the time. Like the kid sees like the T-Rex drinking the pool water, and then the dog's barking at it, and the next thing you know, the dog, the chains hanging from its mouth, like
oh my god, he ate the dog.
Yeah, and then everyone's like, yeah, does the dog die? Yes.
Yeah.
And then the whole scene with like it eating the guy at the blockbuster, and the Japanese guys running from it like it's Godzilla, and it's just there was a little bit of a hokiness to it.
Yeah.
That was like. That they intentionally put in there that I'm not sure quite worked, or might have undermined it a little bit too much. But
yeah, especially setting up like those darker tones, and then all of a sudden you're having like a
yeah
the hokiness of it.
It's a bit it's a bit jarring.
The flip there. So,
and then back to the dark tones where it like where that guy goes to get the T-Rex and gets mauled by the adult that's feeding him to its baby. Like that was pretty dark.
That was. With that being said, at the end, right? What do you think the movie was trying to say about human greed, and did it succeed in delivering that message?
I think it was.
Or I guess like the messages in this one, did it also like?
I think it was a less nuanced message than the
Okay.
first one, to be honest. I think it was about like greed bad, you know, like because I feel like we needed a better villain, to be honest. Like I feel like that guy was
There's a little bit more perspective.
Yeah.
I don't even think the environmentalist, what's his name, the guy that tried to save the dinosaur, he was like the photographer and stuff, like.
He put like everybody's lives in danger, he's the one and he ended up living.
Yeah,
and it's you talking about the actor's name?
Well, the thing is
Vince
that
Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
I think in the first film they did such a great job trying to put perspectives together.
Yes,
and I think they try to do that with different people, but it just didn't work.
Yeah,
out as well as they thought it should have. Right.
It felt a little bit like. To be honest, in some ways, it kind of felt like Fallen Kingdom, in that it was like environmentalists save the dinosaurs, bad guys exploit the dinosaurs.
I'll actually explain that pretty well.
Yeah,
coming up. But, because of that, because there was no like clashing perspectives or switching sides and that sort of stuff, that it just overall made it in the end like, oh, greed bad.
Yeah, greed
instead
bad.
of all these other morals
greed
and
bad, saving animals good,
and perspective and stuff, right? Which just made Jurassic Park even that better. But
right.
What would you, in the end, rate this movie?
I'd give it a 7. I feel like it was like good. Feels like a slightly better than mediocre movie. I enjoyed it.
I agree. I actually rated this also a 7.
Okay.
I think it was those entertaining moments for sure would have like hit so well in theaters. I wish I could have watched this in theaters.
I did, and they did.
Even though, was like 3 years old at that time. So I wish I could have watched it in theaters, because those darker tone moments like would have been epic to watch.
Yeah, they were. It was really cool.
However, we did touch on a lot that made it not, as well as a high rating as the first Jurassic Park.
Absolutely.
And there is a reason why. So that's why I would rate it a 7. But
yeah, same.
Great. Moving on, let's go to Jurassic Park number 3. Came out 2001.
2001, yeah.
We have the returning of Dr. Alan Grant coming back. Do you think that was the right choice for this film? And how did it affect the tone compared to Malcolm's story in The Lost World?
I do actually think that was the right move for this film. I think we kind of just pick up where we left off in terms of Alan as a character, and like where he, like what he seems to be like, and like what his motivations are. Like you said, he's really kind of a solitary kind of guy, and you kind of see how his choices, we're getting into like the story of the film a little bit, how his choices led to where he is right now. And I thought it was kind of nice to see like he had but I'm kind of like one in the like minority where I feel like he had some character growth, but he didn't overall change who he was as a person enough that where he ended up, in the end losing Ellie because of over this issue of kids, because I could totally see that happening. Although it was a little bit sad to see like they were no longer together. I felt like that was kind of realistic.
Like, it's realistic. Yeah. It's kind of like
people don't change overnight.
Karate Kid, where he doesn't stay with the girl in the first movie.
Yeah.
The entire time,
and I know it's just usually it's just to introduce like new elements and like change things around, but yeah, because with that they just like she's just gone in like one line. Oh yeah, she met some what is it, quarterback from UCLA or something at prom or around prom. Yeah, and I was like, hey, that's life, man.
So no, I do agree. I think Alan Grant was the right choice, and the reason is because I can always see him more clearly as like a main character.
Agreed.
Rather than in Malcolm, which I can always see just always as a supporting role.
Which is interesting because both Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum are usually supporting roles in other movies. You don't usually see Sam Neill as a main character in many films, but I think he does really well in this.
He does really well in this because it kind of shows a different side of his character as well.
I agree.
Where he is dealing with one of his students, and I think the relationship between those two, and then kind of calling back to when he finds the kid on the island.
Yeah, once again, there's a kid,
but I feel like this kid was way better.
Totally. I just can't agree more.
Than the second one.
And I feel like he's part of the story.
Yeah,
he's an integral part of the story.
Because he was
right. It's the whole hinge of the story, and I feel like it works as that.
Even after, it wasn't like he was a nuisance or anything.
No,
he was acting as a kid, but also like pushed the story forward for character development for his parents, but also character development for Alan Grant, because if anything, Alan Grant the entire time he's like, don't leave me with these tourists. Right? But he softens up when it comes to the kid. He tells him everything. He's like, oh man, I don't think I should have said that to my student, at the time and stuff. Like, I didn't mean it. And I was just all
That's
like...
right, he confides in the kid. I love that moment.
And I think that shows character growth in Alan Grant, when he does that. But also, like, I love... the kid pushes that growth on everybody, and then the parents, pushes the kid's character growth, and seeing that like, oh, my parents are actually changing. Like,
when he's like, are they fighting? They're always fighting, and I love this kid because I feel like he was well casted. I don't know who this actor is, but I think he did a good job.
Yeah,
and he played like a believably somewhat mature kid, which I liked. And some of his maturity probably came from surviving on this island for like, what was it, like 30 days or something?
Yeah, it was like a month.
Yeah. It was like something incredible. And I want to watch a movie just about that kid, how this kid survived on this island.
Sure. Like a spin-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how he got the T-Rex piss or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Like,
and you
what?
don't want to know. It's like the whole story.
Wild. So Jurassic Park 3 kind of scaled down that corporate greed theme in favor of survival and personal stakes. Do you prefer this more of an intimate approach rather than like what they tried to do in the second film?
I do, yeah. I feel like it's a little bit more, I won't say grounded. I feel like it's a little bit more intimate in terms of like the motivations and what they're trying to tell. It's a story of like survival, but it's like it's also a story about like family and, like you said, like student-teacher relations. And
mentor, kind of thing. Yeah,
mentor-student relations, and I think it works. I like not having to tell the same story again. The stakes aren't quite as high as in, well, in the second film, I guess the stakes are really high. And in the first film, not so much. Yeah, I mean, because like, what's the worst that could happen? They all die, and the dinosaurs are still trapped on this island. So,
true. Yeah,
so,
I'm like, it was cool to in the second one to see the poachers kind of go out and capture the dinosaurs, but in the end, I really didn't care about the poachers. I didn't care about
exactly.
the photographer. Honestly,
that's Vince Vaughn's character.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, he, like, first, like, right off the bat, he went on the island, started capturing photos. I'm like, he did his job.
Yep.
He doesn't need to be there anymore.
Yep.
And while in the third one, it was a little bit more, I was just like, no, like, I don't want the kid to die, or, like, I don't care about, the mother, so much as, like, but, like, I still don't want her to die. Like,
sure.
Even though she was an annoying character.
No, you're talking about the Taya Leone's character. Yeah. I think the parents were an interesting dynamic too. Like the way that I think I got to like them more as the movie went on. Yeah. And they were kind of obnoxious in the beginning, like both of them. And it was interesting how they were able to swindle or deceive Alan.
Never stop yelling.
Who says never stop yelling?
No, like have her stop yelling because she could just immediately off the plane when they land, just starts yelling the kid's name. It's like, are you trying to attract attention? Like.
Yeah, I think Alan says that, right?
To, instructions and stuff, and I was just like.
And then she's got the bullhorn.
Yeah.
What?
But then it kind of like in the end, like by towards the end of it, I was just like, no, I think it was a good, fit for them to get back together again. Like, it just makes sense as far as like the stake goes. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that brings you together. What did you think about the Spinosaurus as the new bad in this film versus the T-Rex? Or versus two T-Rexes, I guess. Well,
that was the cool part about it, because I learning a little bit more about like the Spinosaurus and like the T-Rex and stuff, like there's different eras, it's not just the Jurassic area and stuff. And
exactly.
They lived in Spinosaurus was at the same time the T-Rex was, or anything like that. Like I think there are other dinosaurs that didn't even exist at the time of like the T-Rex and everything.
Sure. And all these dinosaurs that are thrown into the mix did not coexist. And that's something they actually brought up. I think they bring it up briefly in the first one, because even though they call it Jurassic Park, it's just like a catchy name, right? They're dinosaurs from like all over the timeline. Yeah.
So I actually was like, and I thought it was great that they switched it over to a Spinosaurus to see how a little bit more of like an aggressor.
He was kind of scary.
A beast of he was
whatever.
Fighting off all these like other animals and stuff, but like I would have been more terrified of the Spinosaurus than a T-Rex.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I think they had some really good scenes, like the whole thing, like with it downing the plane, and then the whole scene where they're like tumbling in the plane. I feel like they captured some of the like car in the treehouse moments, but made it completely different. You know, with a, and then where it comes out again. No, that I'm thinking of the Raptors, but
No, it comes out. So they get to the fence, and he's on the other side of the fence with the kid.
Yeah.
And then it just pops up, and they're like, "Run!" And then they barely squeeze it through.
They hear
through
the phone,
cracks, and then all of a sudden it just breaks through the fence. And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's unstoppable!" But then you look at it, it's like,
it's massive.
The Spinosaurus could have totally probably kicked the T-Rex's ass, like being that they're from different, eras of the.
And that brings me to my next point: is I'm glad they had the restraint to not have a Spinosaurus. Wait, they did have a Spinosaurus v T-Rex.
They did,
where it kills it. But it's in the beginning. It wasn't like a final showdown in the third act, though, where it happened as they're getting on a plane or something.
Spinosaurus kind of like bullies and beats the T-Rex a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think he
to back down.
I can't remember if it kills it. I think it
just really wounds it.
Yeah, because they do show it like it's like feeding on something,
which sets the tone to be like, okay, this is
the new apex predator.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of 2 T-Rex, it's a Spinosaurus this time. Instead, I'm kind of glad they went that route instead of being like 3 T-Rexes.
Yeah.
3
T-Rexes.
This is my 3 blue eyes white dragon.
Mutant T-Rex with a giant bulbous head.
We made a Hydra.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
We just made like some mutant dragon thing. Which is where they go later.
I'm glad that they went, with the Spinosaurus is all I'm saying. How do you think the shorter runtime of this movie helped keep the story tight or made it feel underdeveloped?
I think it actually helped it.
Okay.
I feel like it could have actually been a little bit longer if they'd done it correctly, but I think it was fine as it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a tightly woven story that was
very
woven, engaging.
Well, I'd say consistently paced, and it didn't have those moments in the second one where all of a sudden the energy just stops.
Yeah.
I feel like they build the energy, it stays flat for a little bit, and then builds energy, and then flat, builds energy, flat.
Yeah, I thought it was much better pacing.
Where I feel like Jurassic Park was just like a slow rise the entire time. If you look at it as a graph, and then Jurassic, the Lost World was like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the whole, this is a formula they kind of tried to follow, but like the variation of threats, how it evolves and then circles back, where they go from like the Spinosaurus and then they go to the Raptors again, and they develop the Raptors a little bit. One thing that people have issue with, and I think some people also don't know, or they just don't like it, is the talking raptor, right? The whole meme of the talking raptor.
That was so quick.
Yeah, and
it
just
was
Alan, the way that like dreams meld into your real life, where weird stuff happens in dreams. I'm fine with it.
He was just on a plane. He got knocked out,
Yeah.
And it was so quick. He just said Alan, and that was it.
And it was really just. It literally could have just been opening its mouth to kill him, and then he heard the guy's voice over it. But yeah, the whole thing that they tried to establish with like the Raptors being really smarter than they thought in the beginning.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was kind of cool.
I loved how they brought in the vocal 3D printing piece. And and then used that at the end.
The resonating chamber. Yeah.
It's kind of like when he brought the claw in the first movie, explained to the student like how raptors like attack, and then he threw away the bone eventually, but then
he throws away his claw.
There was like
when he's with the kids.
Full circle. It was kind of like brought to it, like there was closure. So I'm glad that
I love
this
that whole
film
scene
there was also another closure to the raptors with
the resonating chamber.
Yeah, tool. I think that was.
And and I think that I know people. It's almost like borderline hokey, but I think it kind of works for the film. The one thing was that I've heard people talk about is the fact that there's like a raptor that's behind glass or something, and the lady thinks
Oh,
it's preserved,
yeah.
and then it like blinks
It
or
blinks,
something,
yeah, it
and
kinda
I'm
just
like,
pops open.
that was a little bit silly, but it's a small gripe.
Yeah.
That overall, that was a kind of a cool scene, the way they like trap it behind the gate,
Yeah,
and then it
yeah,
climbs up the
It
gate.
tries to climb up,
Yeah,
and then
it starts calling for help.
It doesn't realize that climbing up let it loose for them to close the gate behind them.
Right, yeah, and then
and
they
all that. So I thought that was great.
and yes, because they kind of reestablished the raptors, and they show more about like their hunting habits and whatnot, and like communicating with each other, and like where it leaves the guy as bait. I thought that was kind of cool, where she like falls down and all the raptors like come out, and then they pull her back up.
Yeah, there was definitely a tonal shift, right?
Yes.
Do you think that tonal shift worked, better than the second one, where it kind of went darker in a way?
Yeah, I think it was a natural progression, because they go from the Spinosaurus to the raptors, and then they go to
The Spinosaurus again at the end.
no, they go to the pterodactyls.
The pterodactyls.
And then back to the Spinosaurus again,
yeah.
and then they finally close it out with the raptors, where they're not actually a
that's
threat,
true.
but they finally deal with them, and I think that was well done. I think the whole cage thing, I have to talk about the pterodactyls, because that was a new thing that they did, and I thought they did it really well. Like like the pterodactyl, I actually think it was a pteranodon, because the pterodactyls are the ones with the long tails, but like coming out of the fog, that whole scene was kind of like a horror movie.
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
It was pretty scary.
I thought that whole scene was really well done. It was really cool.
I think comparably, like, it was definitely a darker tone than the first one.
Yes.
But it was a good balance of the first
and the second
lighter tone, and then the second like dark tone that they had.
I agree.
So I loved how they kind of played your emotions that way, as far as like, man, that was like out of a horror film, like you say.
Yeah.
And then also had some like, lighter moments to it. That was
yeah,
like,
and
okay,
I believe that that's actually taken from the first book. That whole, inspired by a scene that happens in the first book.
Oh, really?
Where that happens in a, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So there's like a bunch of stuff that happens. I mean, it's a book, so it's like got a lot of stuff that happens that they, I think, continue to draw from that well a little bit.
Cool.
Because Jurassic Park was a big place that had a bunch of different biomes and whatnot.
Yeah. Different director.
Different director. Yeah.
I think it was a different writer as well.
I think he did a decent job, though.
I think they did a great job to kind of pull it back.
Yeah, I agree.
To the roots a little bit.
I think it's very underrated. My favorite of the first, or not my favorite of the first three. My second favorite of the first three.
To me, I felt like it was way more adventurous, and an ongoing story that way. There was not really hard discussions like we talked about in the first film, where with those overlapping or interconnecting, perspectives and, flipping sides and that sort of stuff. I felt like that was the complexity of that made it
right. That wasn't
a good story.
That wasn't on the table.
Yeah,
we weren't deciding whether or not to keep dinosaurs or not. But I do like the philosophical discussion about the difference between astronomers and astronauts, right? Yeah, and the need to like have adventures and the whole idea of like motives, like Grant coming down really hard on his student for stealing the egg, and how the kid kind of helps him to soften towards him, because he really comes down on him, where he basically comes to that same kind of philosophical bent that Malcolm was coming at, which is like horrible things have been done with good intentions, right? So I feel like that was a little bit of a callback to Malcolm, like condemning the scientists,
yeah,
in that way.
But with that, what would you like, just overall, just putting all those stuff together, what would you rate this movie? I would personally rate it, like I said, it brought it back a little bit to its roots. Obviously, it wasn't as of I think the dialogue work in the first one, just the flow and the consistency of just how it just kept kind of stacking on each other was obviously peak. So for this one, the third one, to me, I think was like a good solid 8 out of 10.
Same. I gave it an 8.
So just like kind of splitting the difference between that 9 to the 7 to the 8.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's what I gave it as well.
That's where I would place Jurassic
it's an
Park
8 for me too.
Good on the director and the writer to kind of.
I almost had his name. It like just flashed in my head for a second.
Wasn't it Jonathan or something? Was it? Can't remember. Well, either way, we have a lot more to talk about.
There's so many movies.
There's just
so many
many. So we're going into now the Jurassic World 2015. This is 14 years later.
Yeah, and it's quite a departure for the series. We're in the Jurassic World era now.
Yeah. Modern.
For better or worse.
CGI era. So did Jurassic World, just gonna dive right into it, did Jurassic World successfully modernize the franchise for a new generation, or did it rely too heavily on nostalgia and cliches?
Yes and yes. I don't know, man. This is going to sound a little cynical. Like, I think they gave the people what they want.
Which is nostalgia and cliches.
But I hope that we're like demanding a higher caliber of movie.
I guess that's the precedence of modern day generational movies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When are we going to think out of the box, guys? Come on.
I know.
I 100% agree with you. I would say the successful part of it in the question, did the Jurassic World, they definitely successfully modernized the franchise by relying too heavily on nostalgia.
Absolutely. Yep. And it just had overall like a much faster pace to the entire movie.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't really scary in the way that the first 3 had like moments that were scary. I mean, there were a couple moments, but like overall, it was way more action than it was thriller, in my opinion.
True.
So, and it was heavily reliant on special effects and a lot of like fast camera work and just bigger is better kind of spectacle.
Yeah.
And thus begins the marvelization of the Jurassic Park.
He's too smart.
Series.
He ripped out his own. He can camouflage.
He remembers when he put it in. They put it in. We gave him all the DNA. And yeah, it's
he ate his own brother.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Gosh, that was.
Yeah, it just became. Yeah.
To me, I feel like those are just laughable quotes.
Yeah, they
like,
are.
They're so easily quotable, but just so laughable too.
And the movie, I hate to say it, like the movie's fun to watch, but it's not. Fun to watch. There's not much substance.
Yeah, no, no.
Like it's just not on the same level.
Yeah, it's
at all. Like, and we can get to that. Like
the
whole story progression.
How do you feel about the genetically modified dinosaur trope? Was it a clever evolution of the concept or just a predictable blockbuster move?
I think it's a predictable blockbuster.
100%.
I am not down with the whole genetically modified monster because people are bored with dinosaurs. I also don't buy that. Like, people have been going to zoos for like the past so many 100 years and they're not bored with those. So why would they be? This whole like idea trope that they like perpetuate on into Rebirth is that like people are just so bored with dinosaurs. Like, I think actually it works if you're talking about it's like a metaphor for modern audiences, you know, like being bored with like the status quo, like and having to make bigger and better. But in reality, you know, I think
T-Rexes and Spinosauruses and like just regular dinosaurs are scary enough.
Right, I agree.
Why? So
so scary.
Like, but the thing is that they're like, oh, we just need to make it genetically altered to make it even more scarier. I'm just like, well, why don't you make and put a little bit more effort on the cinema side, like the cinematography side of things, to make those elements scarier.
I think storytelling is everything. I think you could have a movie about a raptor stalking someone in a mansion and make it compelling and interesting, right? Like, which they kind of try to do in the in the second act of the.
The thing is that I feel like the 3 Jurassic Park movies kind of worked with the camera work, right?
Mm-hmm.
While all the Jurassic World movies, it's just basic camera work.
Yeah,
it's just generic shots.
Very much so.
Very standard. It's very just capturing the what do they call it? It's just capturing the basics.
Yeah, very straightforward
in a way. So
there's nothing there's never artistic.
Anything artistically clever to make, and because of that, because of the lack of making the camera, work better and just covering the spaces, they're just like, well, we just have to create a bigger, badder dinosaur.
Yeah. And quippier heroes.
Do you think the park finally being open was an exciting payoff, or did it strip away from the mystery that made the original so special?
I think it's a little of both. I mean, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, that's kind of cool to see
It was pretty cool.
To see how they overcame the problems of their predecessors and their creative solutions to that. And then it just all came toppling down because of hubris, with this one creature that just destroys everything.
You told me to make it, what was it again? Badass or something like that?
I just love that Dr. Wu is at the center of it. Is it Dr. Wu?
Yeah.
Yeah, is at the center of it, all of it. Years later.
Still throwing his resume on the table for it.
Yeah, and he's actually, disemboweled in the books, in the first one.
Yeah.
So he's dispatched pretty, early on.
I feel like it would have been great if they did that in this one.
Right? I agree.
And then it's okay, well, they're actually at least trying to get back into the original books like they did with the third one.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like an inspiration kind of in a way. So
agreed.
That would be my fix.
Now, what do you think about the characters? What do you think about Claire as a character, Owen Grady as a character? I've got some issues with Claire.
I love the actress.
Oh yeah, I love Bryce Dallas Howard.
I love Bryce Dallas Howard.
She's great.
I think honestly, she was kind of made for that role.
Yeah.
I think if they would have put a little bit more writing and character in her, she would have pulled it off 100%. Actress. It all just kind of it's the pre-production side of thing that I think was the lacking. Even though they had 14 years.
14 years.
I feel like it was just written in less than a year,
right.
of a script. Man,
what's your take on her whole arc from this?
What arc? I'm just kidding.
her arc. Yeah. From greedy executive to concerned parent type, and then eventually dinosaur activist, which was
that was kind of weird.
Kind of baffling that she went from the one extreme to another.
That's a different topic. So let's go with the first transition.
Yeah, that's the second movie.
Where she was a little bit more on the logistics sides of making sure the park ran, to now she's concerned about the kids.
Well, she was the person up top. Yeah. I mean, other than the owner coming along and
to me, just running the operations.
Yeah, day-to-day operations.
The CEO, right?
Yeah.
I loved that actually. Like
Yeah.
I thought that was one of well, it was probably the most prominent one, and the one that I feel like was focused in the story was like her character change. I don't think it was subtle.
It was not subtle.
Like it was definitely not subtle. It wasn't subtle as like the
No,
Alan Grant's.
She was definitely a bad aunt.
Alan Grant's when he like hangs out with the kids and then starts to like
right.
change, right?
Yeah.
It was very subtle. There was very small moments that build up to it.
Right.
To where it was just one single thing that just made her like switch. And I was just like, okay, that's a little bit abrupt, which is fine because it makes sense. It was like I can make it make sense.
You can make it make sense, yeah.
But I don't think it's an immediate change like that.
Well, when you think about
with being
it,
like having like a habit, of being a COO.
Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, everything is her fault. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of also a little hard to sympathize with her when you're like, okay, like, I mean, even the call to like make this horrible monster like was her idea, or, well, no, it was. I guess that wasn't her idea.
It wasn't her idea, but
it was. Was it Wu's idea?
No,
because Wu said, "I'm doing what you told me to."
Yeah, which was the main billionaire,
which was to
park
make
guy
him
that
badass.
took over. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Indian guy.
Oh, that's right. It was his idea.
It was his idea.
Yeah.
And she's just running the operations side of it to make sure.
She's trying to please the shareholders or whatever. Yeah.
So it was very, like, her character development and change, which happened, but I just wanted to be a little bit more subtle. Like
I agree.
It was in the original Jurassic
Agreed. Yeah.
Park movie.
Especially like with the whole kids dynamic, there's ways that they could have teased that out. Also, I've said it before and I'll say it again, but her secretary did not deserve the grisly death that she got. It's so baffling to me. It's so weird. She gets thrown up in the basically eaten twice.
Yeah,
right.
I remember watching this. Well, she gets lifted, starts getting pecked off by all these birds, and then they start drowning her. Like they drop her in the thing, and then they like start drowning,
dunking her,
and then all of a sudden they just leave her alone, and then like the thing just eats both of them.
Yeah, it eats both of them. The Mosasaurus just comes and eats them both.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It was brutal.
I was watching in theaters I think it was the first time I came back from Japan, so it was after high school. I watched that in theaters. I think I clapped because I was just like, yes, finally, like a death. Right? Because I've never watched the second one or the third one.
Oh, okay.
So I've only watched the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Finally watching Jurassic World, and I was just like, yes, like an actual gruesome death that makes it believable to me, right?
Well, they had that park guy got eaten by the raptor. What's it called? What's the main genetic freak called? Not the Omniraptor. That's what did they? Now I can't remember what they called it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like that's not a real
Saurus.
dinosaur to me, anyways.
So
true. I never really.
It ate that guy where he's like just sitting there like a construction worker. Yeah.
He's just like looking at Owen just underneath the car, and then the car moves. What was it called? He gets snatched.
What's that thing called? Omnisaurus Rex or no? Now why can't I even remember the name of this? The main dinosaur.
So, to me, I thought that was like back then was a very highlight of the movie where I actually enjoyed, because I was like, this makes sense that dinosaurs would do this. There are birds that actually capture their prey and dunk it in water and try to drown it and stuff. I'm like, that makes sense to me. So I wanted more deaths like that.
Well, they were picking off like a lot of like just random tourists and things. And I like the fact that like sometimes they'll pick up people and then they'll just drop them. Yeah, like they'll just get away and they won't. Yeah, they won't.
Scratch them
Because they're heavy, right?
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Too. So I like that whole sequence of just
they're just swarming,
the swarming and the chaos
but they didn't,
and stuff.
I didn't see them do that to anybody else, and it was I felt bad for her because she was just like constantly trying to like take care of the kids, and they didn't show her being
run
like
away.
Yeah, and they didn't show her like being really bad in any way.
Well, just even watching the kids, she was just on her phone the entire time too. So I didn't really care.
Then later she was she was at first, yeah, and then she was like trying to get them back. It seemed like the punishment didn't fit the crime in terms of storytelling, but sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because Claire was way more negligent.
So you think Claire would have been a better
candidate? But she has to have her redemption arc.
Yeah,
so I did like the whole scene. I did like the whole thing with her, silly as it was, like releasing the T-Rex, like that whole
running with high heels.
Yeah, I didn't like the high heels. I feel like she should have ditched those. But like the flare and her knowing the dinosaurs, so knowing what to do, kind of thing. That was kind of cool to watch, as far-fetched as it was. And I actually did like the whole idea that they set up with like Owen communicating with the raptors. Like, I know people make fun of it a lot, but if you go back and watch it, I feel like they did a pretty good job with that.
A pretty good job in the first one.
Yeah, in the first one, and it got more ridiculous as it went on.
Yeah, exactly.
And like people say, "Oh, he just stopped him with his hands," but you see how like he had him from birth, right?
Yeah.
And he barely stopped them. Like they were about to jump at him, and he rolled out of the thing. Like he knew that wasn't gonna last very long.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that was decently believable. And Blue was really the only one that he had that was really like on his side.
On his side,
and luckily they
gave him that moment,
and they took their cues from Blue. So being the alpha of the pack,
the beta of the pack, the alphas. Chris Pine.
Oh, sorry, the beta of the pack.
Chris Pratt.
Right, Chris Pine. One of the Chris's. Yeah, right. He's the alpha. Yeah, and it.
Casting Chris Pratt in that role. Yeah.
I feel like that's like I think that's one of my favorite roles of his. Actually.
Like I said, I wish they would have rounded out those characters a little bit more. Because I'm pretty sure like the actors have way more potential.
Yeah, I feel like they could have done
that they were put into.
I feel like they could have done like a slower paced story that was less reliant on special effects and still had some of the basic storyline and some of the same characters, and still kept that. I don't think it needed like a complete rehaul. What do you think about though the antagonist, the Vincent D'Onofrio character that wanted to weaponize the raptors?
I like the concept that he tries to throw in to try to weaponize the dinosaurs, and I loved how it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And I wish they could have just kept it at that.
And they kept going with it.
And they kept going with it.
Yeah, they kept going with that whole idea.
Like, we're gonna use the dinosaurs for war. I'm like,
no, they did it in the third one too.
Yeah, that's also true.
Remember where the lady like points the. Yeah, it got a little ridiculous. He didn't seem quite as fleshed out as I would have liked him as a villain. He seemed like he was.
That's kind of true. Yeah.
He was like almost likable. Like I was like, this guy's making a lot of sense. He's like, let's release these things to take this thing down, and then at the last minute he's like, I'm taking this research and stuff, and he's like, oh, we gotta stop him.
How come you're not telling me what's made this dinosaur?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, all these raptors like show up, and it's like they're communicating with each other. It's like, I know why they didn't tell me. What this was made out of, because he's part raptor.
Yeah.
Stupid.
He's so stupid. Oh man, why can't I think of that?
They could have totally guessed that. Like,
totally. And then I love how it was just kind of like
Owen's smart enough. Chris Chris Pratt's character is smart enough. He could have totally just guessed that from the beginning.
It was also a bit of lazy writing that they were just like, any ability that we can give this dinosaur, we can just explain it away with, it has the DNA of XYZ animal that does this. Like, it's like, we can camouflage. Because he's got, lizard DNA or like...
I think it was like a frog DNA. A certain type of frog DNA.
Maybe it was a certain type of frog DNA.
And then
that was like a callback to the first one.
There was another one. It's like the thermal.
That was some kind of lizard.
Yeah, that was some kind of
something.
a lizard.
Yeah.
DNA where
they gave
it was able to hide its thermal.
And they're like, "Why did you give this to this thing?" Like, it also doesn't make sense why they'd make it camouflage, because one of the problems in the first one was seeing the dinosaurs. I actually love that. I forgot to say this in the first one. That whole problem that they had where he took them around the park to see the dinosaurs and they didn't see anything was so relatable. If you've ever been to a zoo where you're like where you just go by the exhibits and you don't see any animals because they're like sleeping or hiding or like. I thought that was.
Yeah, you're talking about in the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, if you look to your right, there's this
Dilophosaur. And they're like, Dilophosaur, and there's like nothing, and it's just like, this is that's how zoos are sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to a zoo one time where it's like.
But I also like how they brought up the goat, and they're like, what are they going to do about the goat? And he's like, well, they don't want to just be given food. They want to
hunt.
Yeah.
T-Rex doesn't want to be fed. He wants to hunt.
So I love that whole, set of thing. And, but as far as like Jurassic World goes, it was just fun.
It was just fun.
And it was fun to try to imagine that, of bringing it to a modern time.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
I thought that was like...
I liked seeing
there was a lot of cool moments.
The park in action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved how they had all these guards and like a whole armory vault, just in case a dinosaur does go out. Which they are like, you can tell they're definitely equipped for that, but not for the genetically modified raptor dinosaur
which just kills them all in a matter of moments. Yeah.
But I thought that was cool. I was like, okay, so they actually thought about this. They have precautions for this. They have people in measure, and I thought that was the world building behind it.
Indominus Rex, that's it.
Indominus, yeah.
I couldn't think of that.
So, how does the film's depiction of the fully operational park reflect on our modern culture of theme parks, spectacle, and consumerism?
I think it did a good job with that.
Okay.
I think that is totally something that we would do.
Yeah, 100%. I loved how they're after those kids like are getting the ball and then they go off and then he gets a call, like the park operator guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shoot, and he has to flip through a book and he's like, sorry, this thing's closed. And everybody just starts losing it.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, I just work here.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
That was
a very much of a good scene, kind of showing like the consumer, side of that whole thing, and the people not taking dinosaurs like seriously.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I think they did a great job.
There was a lot of product placement in this film.
Yeah. How do you think the sibling storyline and the kids, did it add like a meaningful stake to it, or were they a weak subject? Or
I thought they did a decent job with the kids. Yeah, I liked the whole dynamic between like the older brother and the younger brother, and I can't remember, what was it that their parents were like getting a divorce or something. Yeah, that's right. And the one little kid didn't want to believe it. That was kind of believable.
It's like, well, now you have two Christmases. You get two presents. And he's trying to comfort the little kid. Like, I thought, if anything, that to me was something I could at least follow and watch.
Yeah.
Rather than the character development of, what's her name again?
Claire. Yeah, I know. The only characters whose names are very forgettable.
So in this one, they actually did a great job with like the kids and the kid, the storyline of the kids, and I think it did bring a meaningful stake to it.
I agree. Yeah.
However,
Always gotta have kids. Always gotta have kids.
Always gotta have kids. However,
it's a formula now.
However, when meeting up with Chris Pratt's character, I feel like it was just like, oh yeah, Chris Pratt's got them kind of thing. But
yeah,
they also knew that too, and they reacted that way. Like, can we go with you? And it's like, yeah, you can hang out with me. No, I meant him. You know,
yeah. Oh, right. Yeah.
Kind of thing. So at that point, I'm just like, well, the kids don't.
The kids kind of took a backseat after that.
Yeah.
I think there was a scene where the T-Rex was fighting the raptors, where the kids were in some peril, like with Claire for like a little bit there. I think Owen was there also, right? Mm-hmm. Where they were like hiding in that little gift shop or something as it was like rampaging about the area. But I think they were, pretty well done. And they had a decent amount of like agency and competency and they were decent actors, which I always appreciate. Like, right. They were likable for the most part.
Yeah. I kind of wish that the kids, once it got to that part where they took a backseat, kind of felt more like a better backseat type of kids.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. They just kind of disappear.
Being so knowledgeable, and I feel like he's like very autistic with like dinosaurs, like the
youngest kid,
youngest one.
Yeah.
Like could have at least like, oh yeah, this dinosaur is like, this is how we have to, what we got to do in order to like do this or that, and like they react this way or that sort of stuff. Like
I mean, it kind of makes sense that Claire did that because she ran the park. In terms of her, like, oh no, the kids did say that. He said, what did he say? We need more teeth or something like that.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I got an idea. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that was a weird thing to say.
Yeah,
it was kind of like autistic to be just like, instead of the way he phrased it.
It would have been great if like the kid goes up to the main villain and was like, that's a dumb idea. Of, like, releasing the raptors and stuff.
Yeah, well,
and then like Chris Pratt's character's like, yeah, like listen to the kid.
Well, it only turned out bad because of the Indominus ended up, alphaing them, and then they just started turning on all the park workers and stuff. But
even then, he's like,
it was too unpredictable.
It would have been. it would have made I feel like a complete circle of at least like giving the kids like, that fine line of like what's good and what's evil kind of thing.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
That would have been kind of cool. Yeah. I think that would have been a little bit too much nuance. There wasn't enough like. There were some conversations here and there, but I don't feel like there were a lot of like important conversations that took place between the characters. I did like some of the dynamic between Claire and Owen and their whole backstory of like romance in the past, and they're kind of bickering and stuff.
It wasn't necessarily should we open the park because the park's already kind of open, and like the values and morals and stuff of like that because it already kind of exists. But
exactly.
So we just kind of watched the chaos unfold, and I actually kind of like that. Just watching it kind of
previous
just
mistakes.
All
but you know what would have stopped the Indominus? Ironically, an electric fence. They're like, no more electric fences.
That's good.
Because they were talking about
true.
Like, they still had I think that there's an idea that man's hubris is like the fatal flaw.
Yeah, that's right. Because the Indominus Rex busts through that gate and starts to go on a killing rampage.
Yeah.
Throughout the rest of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because they no longer had electric fences, but their whole, what was it they said? There's a line in the movie where he says, you know how much power that draws? And he's like, do you know how much Hammond's electric fences drew or something? Yeah. He's
like we're able to stop it with the tracker.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And everything. Like we've reduced it to like that sum.
Yeah, what they did is they put all their faith into like one small thing that if it goes wrong, doesn't really have.
But then gets ripped out.
Yeah. And then,
too smart.
Too smart.
I did like the kids in this one.
Yeah.
I don't think it was as good as the first one, the first original, or the third one.
Or the third one, yeah.
I think
I agree.
it might be pretty close to par with the third one, but it's better than the second one at least.
I agree.
But
yeah.
I think the reason is because of the brother dynamic kind of duo.
Yeah. I did
and
like
the whole,
that.
like, relationship.
There were some cool scenes, like when the Indominus Rex is like trying to get him in the gyrosphere
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
ball and like has it in his mouth, like
The mouth
kind of.
is-
That was kind of a callback to like the whole scene with like the car with the kids and the
kids with
glass,
the
plexiglass. Yeah.
How well did the movie balance nostalgia for the original trilogy with new ideas?
I feel like it had too many new ideas and too much nostalgia. To be honest, like I feel like they like threw too many things at it. I think it could have been like a lot more simplified,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
not like a James Bond plot. We gotta have like super dinosaurs and weaponized raptors with laser beams attached to their heads, and, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there
Could
was
it-
a lot of nostalgia. I think they did rely on nostalgia,
They-
even with like the musical cues and things.
Oh,
a bit.
yeah. Tell us a little bit more
lazily.
about that, because I liked how you
How I put that.
mentioned that when we watched it.
Yeah. So like they played like the Jurassic Park theme. The first time you hear it is when the kid's like opening the doors to see the park,
Yeah.
but it's just showing the park. I feel like it didn't really hit the same way because there were no dinosaurs in view when the theme was playing. And I think they should have saved it for like, I don't know, like when the kids like first
In the gyroscope.
in the
kind of
gyroscope
thing,
came out into
going
that
over a
field and
hill
saw all the
yeah,
dinosaurs. I mean, it's kind of like the first one, but there is something about seeing that was a really cool shot where they just saw like the majesty of the dinosaurs in their natural habitat. So little things like that, I think, just kind of shows how it's like they're just trying to insert like little elements, but not being super intentional about how they do it in the best way to serve the story. So
Did you like that side plot of the military guy trying to, like, what did you think of that? Was it necessary?
I mean, the way they wrote the story, I guess it was, because they not entirely, because I guess if they hadn't done it, because it kind of goes like they release the raptors turn on them and kill a bunch of people, and then the raptors come around and then help him sort of kill the Indominus Rex, but not really. Like, because it ends up defeating them all. So I don't know.
I think it was too over the top.
I'm a little bit. I'm gonna say
think-
no.
I think they could have done better, like you said, by simplifying it. There's no need to bring up the idea of trying to weaponize raptors or dinosaurs. And, like, they could have at least followed a little bit closer to the formula of Jurassic Park without throwing nostalgia down your throat of not really having a villain in a sense.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, and
And
they had even less of a villain than the first one did, because
yeah, and
Dennis Nedry set up like the whole events that led to the park breaking down, right?
so that's where it could be like you have an inside mole still trying to, do something.
I
and
think
then
that could have been a bit
um,
more interesting. Yeah.
there could have been like a whole side thing that way of like them trying to capture, the mole or something that's trying to rip off, this like success of this Jurassic World to create their own kind of version
Yeah,
of-
so they kind of alluded to that, where this whole thing where like they come into the room and then it's that guy and Wu are like taking all the stuff, and it's like they were somehow pulling the strings behind the scenes and getting ready to take over the whole operation, but they didn't really flesh that out. So he was just kind of like this unlikable guy who actually had a point, given the fact that the raptors were intelligent.
Yeah.
Like he's like release the raptors to take this thing down. And I was like, guy, maybe you should listen to this guy. Like, I don't know. Nothing you're doing is working. And then at the last minute, he's just kind of like, oh, this guy's, I get this kind of a villain. Oh, and now he's dead. Like, it's just like, I feel like that actor was a bit wasted because he can be such a good villain. If you've ever seen him, like, be villains in other things.
They could have built him out a little bit more. Wu could have taken his place, honestly.
True.
And then
I agree.
And then he kind of took over the operation like he did the one time when he was like, okay, now my man, like, I'm in charge now kind of thing. Yeah.
At the last minute.
So, and then fleshed out that a little bit more instead of like, at least taking a little bit more time to like get to the point of weaponizing the raptors.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Until like the very end, I feel like. If that makes sense, right? Because that's where like the tag team of the dinosaurs come in.
Exactly.
And I feel like that could have been a more of a like an impact, you know.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have all just happened all at once rather than kind of spread out through that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been like a more solid move.
What would your rating be for this movie? Closing it off.
For this one, I give it a 7.5.
Okay, mine's a solid 7 out of 10. I thought it hit all the same. Like, I thought it did basically the same thing the second movie did.
Okay.
Where it had great moments.
I liked it a little
It
bit
had
better.
like entertaining parts to it, but then it slowed down randomly and kind of threw you off the track that you were kind of led into. So a lot of like that jagged up and down motion with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, it's the same
Yeah,
kind of.
for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, very entertaining movie. It was very fun to watch.
It is fun to watch. I'll give it that.
However, moving on to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, came out in 2018.
Oh boy, what do we say about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom?
There's actually a lot. So many call Fallen Kingdom a rehash of The Lost World with weaker executions, including myself. Do you agree, or do you think it brought anything new to the table?
I partially agree with that. I do think it brought. I'll give it a little bit of credit. I think it did bring some new things to the table.
Do you have examples?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part of the movie is the Indoraptor stalking them in the mansion. I thought that was the most enjoyable part of the movie.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was kind of fun and cool the way they did it. But pretty much that's it. Like, other than that, it's a very similar, like, parallel storyline. You know, we're here to save the dinosaurs, or in this case, they weren't even there to. I guess in the second one, they weren't there to save the dinosaurs.
No.
But they were.
They were just there to observe.
They were just there to observe the dinosaurs.
And kind of just like, how are they adapting to just with no interference from the
Right.
human world?
But I guess you could just say they were pro-dinosaur, and then here these guys come along and want to exploit the dinosaurs, and then that drives the plot.
Yeah, it was the same kind of premise.
And then
of
they capture them.
the billionaire sending out a troop having like a secret agenda.
Yep.
Bringing them back to the mainland. Obviously, that doesn't work out, and then wreaks havoc, kind of thing. It's all to me. I was like, man, this is all the same.
It's very similar.
I think did it as not good.
What do you think about like the first act? Because I was, me and a lot of other people were surprised how little time they actually spent on the island.
I was okay with that.
Yeah, I was just surprised that most of the movie took place like on the mainland.
On the mainland, yeah.
At this guy's mansion.
Yeah.
Like a 2/3 of the film took place there. I feel like
That's true. But I don't know. I didn't like the mansion. So I wish they could have spent a little bit more time on the island.
You said I was okay with that.
But then I'm actually okay with that they didn't spend time too much on the island.
Because it's more of the same.
I wish they would have done something different on the mansion, though.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So you didn't like the whole scene where they were like being stalked by the Indoraptor and the lights go out?
Either even being stalked by the Indoraptor, but having a little bit more other variables go throughout, like more chaos in the mansion.
Yeah.
Than just
that creature.
Yeah, like you can follow these characters and then all these other dinosaurs that have escaped in the mansion kind of gets in the way and the obstacle of the Indoraptor. And you can see like the chaos of
it's literally the only thing that's running around. The slaughter,
yeah.
And it's very contrived the way it happens, or just like it goes into the elevator and just ends up there.
Right.
Because that guy goes to get its tooth.
Right. So either way, they could have made either way work. It's just they didn't do a good job to making either way work.
Right. What did you think about the whole was it dinosaurs as a sideshow versus dinosaurs at auction? It's kind of a similar kind of thing. You know?
I mean, they're still riding on the whole, like, we're going to use the genetics of these dinosaurs to create our military to be even stronger.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, well, they're just going to, it's the same thing as weaponizing the dinosaur, which I'm just like, okay, you're riding on that horse and you're bucking it way too hard. And it's just going to go over the cliff, which I feel like it kind of already has at that point. So...
Which brings us to the Indoraptor.
Yeah. I like how they put personality on the Indoraptor, especially when that guy crawls into the cage.
Yeah,
and trying to rip the teeth out.
Playing dead.
It's like the tail kind of flips up and stuff, and
it's like I'm not gonna
that
actually
one
pull my
scene
tooth
of
out.
like
That's
the
painful.
hand, coming out, like, and the girl's like in the bed and stuff, and it kind of the
yeah.
claw. Certain shots like that was
cool.
kind of
it was like a huge raptor.
But I didn't feel it was like one of those like fantasy horrors, if that makes sense, rather than like an actual like surviving like scariness to it, which the third one did really well.
Yeah.
Right. It was scary because I was like, oh man, that's like realistic, or
specifically where in the third
like
one.
Like the Spinosaurus is like chasing them, and they just like barely get through.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, we made it," and then it just breaks through like the thing. And you're just like,
yeah.
"Oh, right."
That was
and
cool.
then like the Velociraptor, like the cages and stuff, like that whole part was also like very scary. But this one was just more of like a comedic horror, like fantasy horror type thing. Where it's like, okay, it's not as real as it can, So I did like the Indoraptor, but I also did not like the Indoraptor.
I can see that. I didn't like the whole like clone subplot.
Oh yeah,
weirdness.
That's my next question. How do you feel about the introduction of the human clone subplot? Interesting idea or unnecessary twist?
I can say unnecessary twist.
I do agree. And I did mention this, is that it's unnecessary. But that's because they also didn't touch on it until the third movie.
Right.
It didn't make any sense
There's no
until like the third movie, where it's like, okay, well that makes sense, but it's still unnecessary.
Right. Yeah. Oh, because the whole you're talking about the third movie of the Jurassic World series.
The Jurassic World series,
where it's like,
it kind of just
now there's some kind of
it throws in a little bit more information of like why she was cloning herself, right? Is because like she was dying, so she wanted to like perfect herself to, like,
well, and then they related it to like something that they need her for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least they sowed seeds in the second one.
Exactly.
So I guess that's kind of cool. I just
however,
wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah, I think they could have just gotten rid of it entirely.
Yeah.
I don't even think the daughter was necessary.
No. I do like the twist that the old man that was somehow like a compatriot of Hammond that we didn't know about. But I mean, I can forgive that because who knows? Maybe Hammond has a lot of partners that we didn't know about. This somehow split ways. That was kind of an interesting, I don't want to say retcon, but like development. I like the fact that he didn't end up being the villain.
Yeah, but I also saw the actual villain in that film just coming in a mile away.
True.
Like I was like, dude, he's just going to smother that guy.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
you did.
I knew it from the beginning.
So I thought when I first like saw that scene where he comes in, he smothers him. I thought they were both bad. I thought they were both going to be like, because that guy has also played villains in the past, and this is where I sometimes like jump ahead, like looking at like casting, right?
Casting, yeah.
James Cromwell, who played the old guy, has been villain in the past, and just there was things he was doing there. He's talking about Hammond and I were so close, and this and that, and he's the one that sent her to the island. Well, I thought he was in on it, and then when I found out he wasn't, that was kind of a twist for me to find that he wasn't part of it.
It made it feel that way because he was hiding a secret, but it was more of like a secret of the daughter,
right?
Rather than the actual overall. But because like I kind of knew he was hiding, there was like a whole nother secret.
Right,
the twist, the
twist,
human clone subplot twist. I didn't quite see the human clone subplot twist coming. I knew he was hiding something, but in the beginning when he's like talking to Claire, he's like, I believed, he even said this, like, I believed what John Hamm says, like, they should have their own, like, world and stuff, and, like,
yeah, I thought he was playing them again.
We need to save them and move them to a different island.
Yeah.
Is what the intention was.
Sure.
So I was just like, okay, so, like, he agrees with, the Hammond, of just observing the dinosaurs,
sure,
and just making them live in the
and to be fair,
themselves.
Hammond wasn't complicit in the whole Jurassic World, Lost World series of events either. Mm-hmm. It was the guy, that was under him or his. Yeah, that controlled his company that did it.
So it was the same.
So you're right. It was kind of the same thing. But he didn't kill Hammond in his sleep, which would have been kind of a cool plot twist. Push him down the stairs. Watch his amber cane shatter.
Well, he took control. The reason why he had to smother is because he had to take control of the reins and stuff.
Right. Well, then he found out.
Right,
remember, he was gonna turn him in. Remember, he was
the Lost World, Hammond lost all of his control over
of the companies,
of both islands.
Right.
So that's why he was able to call the shots, and there was no necessary of killing him,
right,
like Hammond in the second one. But this one, it's of course there was a need to kill him, and smother him, because he wasn't necessarily in control until he died off. But I kind of saw that a mile away, that he was going to smother him.
Really?
Take control.
Okay, I did not see that. I thought there was something about his mannerisms that I thought he was gonna. I was gonna find out he was also in on it. But then when I found out he was gonna turn him in, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then he was like, oh, he's. And then as soon as he picked up the phone, I was like, oh, he's dead. He's gonna kill him now. Yeah.
It got to the point where the daughter's sneaking around, in the office and stuff, and following him, and then almost got the. Remember, she backed up into the cage a little bit, and got touched and freaked out, and stuff, and then he locked her into the room.
Oh yeah.
So that's where I'm just like, okay, he's the villain. The old guy, I don't think he's too old to do anything.
Yeah,
I think he's good. Is when I started to put the puzzle pieces together.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. But
yeah, no, he's not much of a threat. I just thought he was villainous. Yeah.
We went on a tangent, but
we did go on a tangent.
The human clone subplot, unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
Does not have to be there. Honestly, I would have just been fine just dealing with adults.
Once again.
In the Jurassic World
So you not. So what if there was a daughter? So you wouldn't even want a daughter that's not a clone.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought she did an okay job. I thought it was kind of fun watching her like run and hide from things, but yeah, if she wasn't there, I don't think I'd miss her too much.
But I guess like things would have been revealed if we didn't have a sneaky little kid kind of like
it's a different way,
being curious. You know?
Yeah.
I did like how they made her clever.
Yes.
Like
They
super
did.
smart and
Super
stuff.
smart.
But she didn't have to be a clone, and she
No.
didn't need to be brought back in the third film.
No.
Was
Definitely
my-
not. But yeah, we'll get to that.
Did the horror style sequence work for you, or did it lean too much on the cliches or just like to build tension?
You mean like in the mansion?
Yeah.
It kind of worked for me.
Yeah,
I
okay,
kind of
yeah,
liked
I mean,
it.
it kinda
I liked
does.
where they turned off the lights and
Yeah.
I thought it was the most memorable part of the film the first time I saw it, and then when I saw it again, I was like, yeah, this is my favorite part of the film.
When that happened, I kind of felt like, oh, this isn't. I mean, in a sense, it was kind of a little bit of a Jurassic horror to it.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt more of like it was either like a Predator or
True.
an alien type horror rather than a
True.
Jurassic.
That's true.
Park
No,
horror.
I
So
mean, I
that's
could
why-
do without the genetic hybrids
Right.
altogether.
So-
yeah. And then the whole thing with it falling through the roof with the laser, that was kind of silly. Because it like lunged.
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool how I liked the way it died. Like I liked the way it fell through the glass roof and got impaled on the dinosaur bones. But yeah, that whole, again, with the genetic weaponized dinosaurs, I just feel like it's completely unnecessary. I feel like with the right writing, you could make the same story about regular dinosaurs
Exactly.
without.
Or even that, just like, even if you have like a slightly altered genetic dinosaur, I feel like that could have been evolutionary evolved into like an alternate, like, instead of like created that way, because they already set up in the first film that like they're evolving because they're having, they're having eggs even though they're supposed to be all female dinosaurs.
Well, there's all these unforeseen things because of the way that they made them
to me,
begin with.
It would have made sense that they just evolved kind of that way on their own, especially at such a rapid pace. Right. And then for me, it would have been scary if like they would have just been running down the mansion. There's other dinosaurs escaping, kind of just like causing chaos. They have to kind of dodge those. But then you have just one dinosaur just like
that would have been cool.
That would have been like that would have freaked me out.
That would have mirrored the whole thing that they did in the original Jurassic World, which is where they talk about where it's trying to find its place in the food chain.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, it's just killing things and not eating them.
Yeah.
And it's like, that would have been like a callback to that. I think that would have been cool.
So, like I said, they could have just made it.
I did
if they put a little bit more into the writing, I feel like they could have made it.
Yeah, I feel like once again the writing.
I don't know
if
it was like, okay, we still need to have it a little bit more mild because of kids,
Yeah.
But at this point,
again,
like
my
the people
Jurassic
at this
movie.
point, like the people that grew up with Jurassic Park are like now older.
I know. Why do they never do that though? They're never like, oh, these people are older. Let's give them a more mature movie. They're like, we want to get new audiences and the old ones. It's the whole thing. Yeah.
So
I just want my R-rated Jurassic Park movie.
I do. Okay, and we did talk about that. Do you think splitting the story into two halves, the island and the mansion horror, helped or hurt the pacing? I think it hurt it. They could have played a little bit better on both parts, either way.
Yeah,
and I can see it going either way.
I don't know if it was half and half. Like it felt like I'm not sure exactly like what portion of the movie took place in the mansion. The island felt a little bit short for me.
But
like,
even then, the island was unnecessary. Like everything
True.
on there with the volcano erupting did not fit science.
No, it did not. It was very much like action movie tropes where
Yeah.
it's like everybody would have been dead like
well,
10 times over by now. Yeah.
It's Chris Pratt.
They always have to make things just so sensational in order to make people.
He would have died in the volcanic dust.
Yeah, exactly.
You.
Yeah.
Or
as soon as it touched his back, he would have just
when he's like
incinerated
a foot away from the
the pyroclastic cloud that's like thousands of degrees, right? It's ridiculous. but that aside, like I feel like sometimes they have to make the stakes so high and so ridiculous that the characters have to survive. That you just have to keep making it more and more sensational.
Yeah.
And you can't just have like these normal kind of everyday threats where people survive through them. I did like the fact that they had like some varied dinosaurs, like where he said, "Oh, is it a or is it a T-Rex?"
I did like,
and it was just
the,
some random dinosaur, like it's like another carnivore that was coming through, that was getting like magma dripping on its.
I did.
That was kind of cool.
That was one of the better things is I saw way more variants of like different dinosaurs and stuff because like it's not just the T-Rex.
I like that too, and that was where they introduced like the Carnotaur with like the horns on its head and like Allosaur and different things. And then later they kind of make the mistake of just throwing so many dinosaurs at us, like where it's like less is more. But I did like that. What about the whole sad scene about the brachiosaur? The lone brachiosaur on the edge of the island as it's going up in smoke. Like everybody was. I think that was so sad.
To me, it wasn't sad because it was, and it's not that I don't have a heart.
No,
I cry in movies. Trust me. It's not that to me it wasn't sad because it was just a spectacle.
Yeah,
like they were just trying to make it visually look like epic.
Yeah, no, totally.
Of like that dinosaur's death.
Oh, right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
like in the clouds and stuff.
Oh, sure. It was very sappy.
Yeah,
but I remember a lot of people saying that they were like, "Oh, that was so sad."
It was pretty sad.
I was like, "This is."
I was sad over more of like the crying and like the sound effects.
Yeah.
Of it, but I wasn't sad of the visual side.
Right, right. No, the way it was like crying.
I was responding to the sound effects.
I did not cry.
Responding to the visuals.
But it was a bit ham-fisted.
Yeah.
But
that's my take on that.
Like you can't save all the dinosaurs, man. So that made sense. But yeah, I agree.
So
I think if I was to redo that movie, though, I'd have a completely different storyline. I don't know if I would
100%.
save any of that storyline, unlike the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just do something entirely different.
Yeah, and then everybody survives.
Exactly.
I don't think, besides the guy with the goofy hair that was doing the auction, he dies, right? But
and
he's
the
like,
villain.
He's a villain, and then the villain also dies, and you know he was going to die.
And the poacher guy dies.
Yeah.
Which he didn't die in the Lost World, the poacher type character. But
right.
He's also not... He's just kind of a mercenary in that one. In this one, he's like hired by that guy. And he also betrays them personally. So I guess it makes sense. But it is a little bit, it's a little bit tropey where just all the bad guys die.
All the bad guys are dying.
No good guys die.
Where we have, at least in the Lost World, the good guys, like there's a good guy that we like.
Yeah, and then just some random people that we don't really know, but they're not bad guys, like the paleontologist that gets the snake on him and backs up into the dinosaur's mouth. Just, that was somewhat believable.
Yeah.
And just dies in like a rain of blood.
So, I mean, there's no consequences. There's no...
I agree.
I think that's one of the worst things...
Totally.
About these modern movies.
Totally. I agree.
Is that good people are also going to die too.
Yep.
And it shapes the main character's journey and his character by realizing and taking responsibility that like he might have caused that death.
Sure.
Right? And
yeah.
It's like one of those like parts of just like, will that make him a villain or will that make him a hero?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's, it just doesn't have that weight to it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, at least the Lost World had that guy very heroically get horribly killed, and I thought like, I hated seeing it, but I was like kind of glad that they were bold enough to do that, to make that choice, like make his death mean something, kind of thing.
How did you feel about the movie leaning heavily on visual and suspense rather than strong character arcs?
Oh, I'm never a fan of that.
Never a fan
of that. Yeah.
No.
It was definitely more the same in terms of visual effects over character development and story from the Jurassic World. It was more of that. That Jurassic World set the precedent, and then they carried the torch on that.
Yeah. At least if you are going to make it a spectacle, like, make it to the point where it was, to me, I was just like, yeah, it's like a 7 out of 10, you know, like the Jurassic World did. However, I need to figure, I don't know how to turn this out. I even Googled it.
That's interesting.
I think it's just
It's
the
gonna
camera and
it's just gonna show up in the live feed, like
yeah.
That's
It's
okay.
gonna say press the start button in the live feed. Did the ending, the dinosaur being released into the wild, feel like an exciting cliffhanger or a forced setup for the next film?
Definitely a forced setup for the next film. And I also don't understand, many people have talked about this, like what was it, like 24 dinosaurs released into the world just ended up like hundreds of dinosaurs everywhere overnight. Like I didn't quite understand how that happened. Like it didn't, there weren't enough dinosaurs in that mansion to populate the world the way they were populating it in the next movie.
Yeah. I kind of agree, because it wasn't even like 15 years later. It was like less than that.
No, it was like 5 or something like that. Yeah.
And Blue only was able to produce like 1 during that whole time. So
yeah.
It's like,
yeah, exactly.
What were the, anyway, 100% just a forced setup.
Yeah.
And I kind of, I wish there was a different way to, like, they could have released all that, like, ton of dinosaurs into the, you know, mainland.
Yeah.
At least set that up, because in the end, like, it's Jurassic World, so it makes sense that, like, now dinosaurs are part of the world.
Part of the world, yeah. But it was also the name of the theme park, so you could do it either way. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe have them on a smaller continent. I don't know how they made it. They don't also explain how they make it from like North America to like all the corners of the earth. Did they ever explain that?
No, I have no idea.
Because they show like triceratops with the
it's
herds
like
of
the
elephants.
Northern California. Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
They got on like barges and crossed the Atlantic.
Went to Africa.
Yeah. It's kind of silly. Yeah.
It's definitely really trying to push that creative. This is the creativeness of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of that.
No.
What would you rate this movie?
I give it a 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went pretty harsh on this one, because I was like, man, there was no originalness to it. It basically was a ripoff of the second, the Lost World movie. They didn't even execute it very well. There's like
that
a
might be a little
whole
high.
Unnecessary subplot. I was like,
you're gonna give it like
I was
4.
like, man, this was it. Yeah, exactly. You guessed it.
Oh dang!
It's not even an average movie.
Yeah.
I think with them trying to make it like as entertaining as possible, made it actually backtrack to a 4.
Yeah.
For me, I think it was just below average.
I don't know if I'd ever give it 4. I might give it Yeah, 6.5 seems a little
I
high.
would probably not watch it again, and I don't think it's recommended for me to watch, or I would have somebody watch this if
Yeah, I don't think I would have watched it again if we hadn't needed to watch it for this.
Yeah,
because it was completely unmemorable to me. I watched it again and I was like, I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, I wouldn't even tell like a friend, be like, hey, yeah, like, you should watch this movie. No, like
No.
I'd be like, no, there's not. Just watch the first Jurassic World and you're fine. You don't even need to watch the rest of it.
I agree.
Yeah,
no, I don't know why I said that.
No, yeah, I mean,
well, now they say it out loud, I'm like, because I don't know if I don't think I'd watch it again too. So I was like trying to go down, but I don't think it went far enough down.
Well, this
like
is the whole point. This is the whole point of like why we have these breakdowns in discussion.
Yeah.
Is to sway minds. Right.
Right.
Because I think there was a part of, I don't know if we were talking about in Karate Kid, where we were talking, and I was just like, no, like they have a point. Like I should probably rate this movie a little bit higher.
Was it Karate Kid 3?
I think so. Yeah. Where I was just like, no,
there are
like,
some things I like about that
point
one. Yeah.
That were actually pretty
like,
good.
I'll add 0.5 to my.
Where I thought.
Yeah, you're
like,
swaying me the other way, and I'm like,
So
I'll give it 5.5, and then
just above average.
Yeah, I'd say it's just above average.
Which I guess, like, in a way, they did their job, right, to make it entertaining.
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining enough, but ultimately forgettable. Yeah.
100% forgettable.
Yeah.
Where in the first one, I was able to remember at least like all those stupid lines. You know, and dialogues
yeah.
Where this one, I'm just like, there's like nothing to quote about.
Kind of quotable, yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's like nothing in this one to quote.
So, moving on to Jurassic World Dominion. Came out in 2022. Dominion tried to juggle legacy characters, new storylines. Do you think it succeeded in tying the saga together, or did it collapse under its own weight?
I'm gonna say it collapsed under its own weight.
Sorry, I 100% agree. I think it collapsed under its own weight.
I will even say that I tried watching this movie the first time, and I got like halfway through it, and then I just kind of lost track. Like I didn't even feel compelled to finish it. And then the second time with Kazu, I actually ended up finally finishing this film.
It was. It's so funny. I think I did watch the second one, right? The Jurassic Fallen Kingdom, and I think I skipped watching this third one particularly because I didn't like the second one, and I was just like, it's going to be
more
bad.
The same, yeah.
So I finally got around to watching it, and I think they just tried to juggle so much.
So much.
I mean, the shot of like the dinosaur behind them, there's a car flipped, and then there's like 8 people hiding behind the car. I was like, is that necessary?
Oh, and it makes the dinosaurs seem way less threatening.
Yeah.
And they doubled down on the whole thing of like everybody's kind of safe, you know? Like
everybody lives.
Yeah, everybody lives except for the bad guys who died in like kind of okay, I mean his death was kind of cool.
His death was kind of cool if you understand the depth of like
the lore
and stuff, because
who he is,
which we'll get into. But like I said, like
I think it ultimately fails as a
having
film.
8 people behind like a flipped car over it and stuff, like it's, you know,
and I was thinking at the time, is this thing
like a wide shot of all of these, like, you know, I was like, man, there's just so much going on. There's no reason to have all those people.
Yeah. No, it was a bloated cast. I think. I'll say it again. Less is more. And they tried to juggle too many things. That's why a lot of films with large casts, they find ways to separate them, which they did for a time. But yeah, the 8 people by the car was ridiculous. Like I thought the thing's vision was based on movement, and when I found out it wasn't, that scene made even less sense.
Yeah.
I was like, this thing is selectively dangerous. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like when
yeah,
it needs to be, and when it's the plot armor thing.
Yeah. How do you feel about the franchise's tendency to set up big ideas, but not follow through with satisfying payoffs?
Oh yeah, I think it's getting worse and worse. So this one, I said it earlier, but this one really feels like the plot of a James Bond movie, like, and the pacing, right?
Yeah.
With all the weird, crazy, like.
Well, the recent ones, at least.
Yeah, like street races through Mumbai or whatever, it's literally
like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, Mission Impossible. Yeah, we were talking about
Or
this.
James Bond.
Or James Bond. That whole thing. It was just
motorcycle with raptors chasing you through.
And somehow they weren't catching up to her when she was on foot, but then when they were on a motorcycle, they were almost catching up to them. That didn't quite make sense either. Like suddenly they got faster because they were on faster moving.
Yeah.
Even
though like in the Jurassic World, he was driving like a motorcycle and they had raptors kind of like just go around him.
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
well, maybe he was going slower so he could go along.
I have no idea.
Who knows? But still, it's just a ridiculous idea. It just tried to pack so much in, and it had like these cartoonish villains and a ridiculous plot.
Yeah.
That was just, it was too much.
The bird that attacks the plane. It's just, I said it before in the review. In my short review film, is like, they just try to throw in cool ideas.
Yeah.
And that was it. They didn't care about, what happened, like what is it, like the curtain call, or, how like in theater, when you introduce something, there's like an end to something and you give them like an end to it before they go off screen kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, that never happened.
That never happened.
They're just like, let's try this, let's try that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep adding things that just doesn't make any sense. Like some of those things were cool.
Yeah, they introduced some cool looking dinosaurs.
Some cool concepts.
They didn't explain where they came from. Like the dinosaurs that chased him. There was only one original velociraptor. So I looked this up. Those other raptors were a different kind of raptor. I can't remember. She even says it.
Yeah.
In that evil lady that also is an unresolved plot line who just gets away.
Which they don't have any ties to like the underground fighting dinosaur black market thing in the first place. So it's like...
Yeah.
I get why they're making deals with that, but like, why are they... Like, how are they connected? Like, why do they know their operation when they're just like, they have their own operation?
Right.
So it's like, they did throw in some cool concepts. They just never follow through. It just didn't make sense. It was just all jumbled, and I kind of felt scattered brain throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. There were some weird, cool dinosaurs, like the bird-like raptor that comes up out of the ice. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that blind dinosaur was terrifying. That was... with the long claws, I had to look that thing up, and it was a real thing. I was like, I kind of figured it would be. See, like when you have stuff like that, why do you need super genetic modified dinosaurs?
The reveal of that dinosaur was like the reveal of like the Spinosaurus, in a way. And I thought having the character of like him being blind, I was like, oh, that
was cool. And then they had to introduce the Giganosaurus, which felt unnecessary. I feel like it could have just been that thing hunting them, and that would have been cool, pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It's different enough. I think it's terrifying, like the way that it was like went down into the water, with like the green algae on top. That scene was kind of fun.
Like I'm saying, they're throwing
few and far between.
Great concepts. I thought that was like some parts were cool. It's just overfilled with too much.
So overfilled, yeah.
It's like...
And convoluted.
They had like a glass of water, and everybody just kept pouring in. And just kept overfilling, and like nobody was like looking at the cup while they were pouring.
Nope.
And it's just like, okay, guys, like you're spilling,
And I feel like it's just like even like the legacy cameos didn't quite pay off. Like their interactions and things weren't quite as satisfying as I wanted them to be. It was kind of nice to seeing Alan's personality.
That was my next question: is how did the return of the original Grant, Ellie, and Malcolm work for you? Was it a genuine payoff, or just like pure fan service?
It felt like they were just completely unnecessary. I feel like the story was not written in a way that was compelling enough for me to believe that they needed to be there.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a way you could have done it,
Yeah.
in which it would have made sense, and this wasn't it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't see anything they could have done in sabotaging that company that Malcolm and that guy could not have done themselves.
Yeah.
Like while they were there. So.
Yeah, and neither could I think they just brought him back because they're like, yeah, let's finally get Alan and Ellie together or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah. Okay.
I thought in the end they would at least become the grandparents of, in a way of to the little kid, the clone and stuff, and kind of
Oh yeah.
yeah, kind of
That would have been something. That would have been something.
Yeah, get to the end where Alan kind of introduces Owen, Chris Pratt's character, to a little bit more of the fossils and stuff.
Yeah.
And, digging that up and his work, and I would like at least a little bit more of a
cohesiveness.
Yeah.
The story is all over the place, man. This one more so than any other one. It's just going in so many different directions.
So many different directions. Did you think the Locust subplot distracted from the central premise of dinosaurs in the modern world?
Yeah, I thought it was stupid.
Yeah.
I thought it was stupid. I get it, but it didn't really work for me.
The Locust subplot was also very unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I think they tried to use that in a way to tie off the whole human cloning thing together, which in the first place was unnecessary. So
well, I mean, the way they wrote the story, it was necessary because the whole plot hinged on it, right?
Yeah.
It was the fact that this guy was gonna cover it up or not do anything about it was what drove them to want to sabotage or get the information out of his facility that would stop them, and then him burning them and releasing them was the whole inciting event that took down the park.
I like the original idea of we think he released those locusts to destroy all of these other crops so that they would have to pay into
his company
and stuff. And I was like, that makes more of a compelling,
but that was confusing to me because he was
instead of this whole these locusts are defective and they're actually ruining it, the ecosystem of the planet. So now we have to use your blood to try to, fix it and put it into this bug. So then that spreads it around this whole. I'm like, what?
But what was interesting was basically the idea was they were defective, and then he was like, I'm just not gonna bother righting my wrong because I just don't care. That was his whole villain arc, because he's like, I have money, I don't need money. And also he was just such a Tim Cook stand-in character, the way they wrote him, right?
Yeah.
The Apple CEO,
and his assistant. I didn't oh man.
I feel like he should have tried to violently murder his assistant when he found out he betrayed him. He just wasn't a very interesting villain.
Or the assistant being a little bit more,
something should have happened.
I feel like he had a heart, but then all of a sudden he didn't have a heart, kind of thing. In the end,
the assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly thought when the books dropped, he just let everything drop. He's like, "What's wrong?" I thought he was just gonna pull out a knife and start going freaking Chucky.
Maybe if it was rated R. No, actually, no. There's ways you can do it, like they did with the artful, blood going down the stream.
At least
some kind of conflict. The characters, I think, were just written in a way that wasn't very interesting.
But we did like his death.
Just,
if you want to explain it a little bit more,
so one of the things that they allude to is that this character, it's like a blink and you'll miss it thing. This CEO of this, what was the name of the company? Not InGen, was Aunt Hammond's company.
Something. Was it Shield? Something? No.
No, I can't remember. It was Jin's. Anyway,
I'll look it up while you explain
Genco.
it. Yeah.
Anyways, this CEO is Dodson, who's the guy who hires Nedry to sabotage the original Jurassic Park, and that's why he recovered the Barbasol can that
Biosyn.
held Biosyn.
Yeah.
He recovered the
Very quick, very fast. Just like a quick pan when he goes into his big office to gather up all of his things.
Yeah, he has
Like
the
you
rusty
see the
Barbasol
rusty
can
Barbasol
that he
can.
used to put the embryos in. And then later he drops it when he's in that tunnel. So you
Oh,
see
yeah,
it
that's
again.
right.
Yeah. So somehow they recovered that. I don't know how. So maybe they were populating the world with dinosaurs. But if that's the case, then why do you even need the whole setup of the dinosaurs escaping from the
released
mansion?
yeah.
So the story's all over the place. So him getting killed by the Dilophosaur is like he dies the same way Nedry
It's
does.
because those dinosaurs are like her.
They're like her.
Yeah, because she's the one because it got gassed and they were all kind of trapped, right?
Yeah.
And then they had a button to release them, but then Owens was like, "Don't release them."
Oh yeah.
And then so she turns away,
The clone
and then the clone girl comes in and
releases
them.
Oh yeah, oh, that's right. Because they're like me.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess these deaths will be on your hands. Oh.
Oh, and
So yeah, his death was somewhat poetic.
yeah, his death was very. I at least like the ending of like his death and how he.
How they
kind of
creep up on him.
That. I don't know how those dinosaurs ended up in that tunnel.
I know, because earlier it was like the Dimetrodons, the one like squatty ones with the fins on their backs, and those are scary enough because, I mean, they don't look very scary, but if they corner you, like a pack of them, you're dead.
Yeah,
you know?
but they were in the wild, so it's like where did that?
Yeah, exactly.
They just did that for the sake of like doing that death to try to make it poetic.
Sure.
Which to me, I'm just like, yeah, like. But it's like it's visuals for visual's sake in the end, and there's
a bit
like
more fan
no
service kind of thing.
Yeah, there's no kind of like meaning behind it. There's no.
Sometimes I
there's
like
no
it
way
when
to it.
deaths aren't poetic, where it's just like, oh, just some random
just
thing
happens,
kills
yeah.
him. Yeah.
But so that's one of the things too, is that all of these dinosaurs, like the locusts and stuff, like start to like rain, fire on everything, and then they have to bring. Like the whole company kind of goes in chaos, and then there's all these dinosaurs running through, and they're ripping people like left and right. Especially in the beginning in the world where there's like a news channel, just like now we have to live with all these dinosaurs in the world.
Yeah.
It's like there's just a random guy on a scooter and he gets just ripped off by the dinosaur.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I'm just all like.
Oh, that was when he was fleeing the facility.
Fleeing the facility.
Yeah,
so it's not even the beginning in the news.
No, it's while the chaos is happening.
The chaos is happening.
Yeah.
And all these 8 main characters like running, and you just see like some random scooter guy
unscathed.
Yeah, and I'm just like.
Now we just have random people that we have no emotional attachment to just getting killed. Which brings me to the main villain. Dinosaur villain, because the dinosaurs are a bit more like monsters in this one, and this is a trend that I also don't really like that started. But what do you think of the Gigantosaurus introduced as the new big bad? Because it's really not that blind thing; it's the Gigantosaurus, which is the.
I was fine with it. It wasn't as cool as the Spinosaurus. I was like, it kind of looks like a bigger. Yeah, it looks like a bigger body T-Rex with a smaller head.
With longer arms.
With a little bit of more longer arms.
Yeah, because it isn't only the T-Rex is cursed with those tiny arms.
I don't know.
And it continued the time-honored tradition where now there has to be a T-Rex
yeah,
versus whatever showdown that happened in Jurassic World.
A tag team dinosaur fight. I honestly also did not like that the T-Rex rose back from like the dead and then headbutts the guy into like I thought it was cool that I went to its claws, but I thought they could have done that. Like I feel like with that creature being like blind and senseless, like was able to like kind of hone in on like other like senses to like do something cool with its claws.
Something, yeah. And of course the T-Rex had to stop behind that
Oh yeah,
the
the little
circle
circle fountain.
the circle
thing.
fountain to look like the logo. That was some ham-fisted fan service for sure.
Man. With so many action set pieces, which one stood out as the most effective or memorable, and why?
Well, I think I already talked about that because like there was the raptor chase, which was dumb.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really like that.
At least like the coolest thing, because they threw out so many cool things.
That's true.
Is that
Something's gotta stick.
I have two. One of them is like we finally saw a raptor with feathers.
Yeah, that was gonna be my first one. Was the raptor in the ice? Was cool.
The raptor, and then it, like it's kind of like on ice, and then the ice breaks. Or something.
Yeah, and then it
happens,
swims.
and then it just dives in naturally and starts swimming.
Yeah,
that was cool.
That was cool.
However, I'd like him falling in the water, and then you kind of see him swimming up, and then last minute getting pulled. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Where's this hypothermia?
Yeah,
He would have died
yeah,
like within if they hadn't gotten him to.
The other cool thing was the introduction of that one dinosaurs with the claws, and then she has to like crawl into like
those
the
are my
water
two
and stuff. Yeah, that's
it.
it.
The ice one and the dinosaur with the claws.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
Those were probably the
and
two
then
coolest.
There were
scenes.
some that didn't really work for me, which was like the raptor chase. Was kind of ridiculous. And then the whole scene was with the Giganosaurus and 8 people behind a car, and what was the whole thing with like throwing fire in its mouth or something?
Oh yeah. He plants one of those fire locusts on a stick,
and just
then
throws it like a javelin.
It's like,
or when Owen comes up and grabs the Dilophosaur,
or
and
it like chokes him out with
chokes,
like from
chokes
his,
him with
like,
all its own
venom.
venom. That was a bit hokey, in my opinion.
Oh
like,
my gosh!
It just made our characters kind of into superheroes that can't be touched.
Yeah, and like the plane crashed, too, and then they survived that.
Oh yeah, of course they don't.
Even though there's like no seatbelts, even introduced there's no safety on this thing.
It's just you gotta suspend your
so
level
like
of disbelief.
the only way, like he's like literally tying his arm on like a strap to seatbelt to like save his life.
Right, yeah. And what does she do?
She's just holding on to the control.
Oh yeah, that's enough.
But it's like it was like literally like this.
Yeah.
Like it was tilted up. It wasn't even like a glide. It was like a.
Yeah.
So.
It's a bit much.
Okay, moving on. Oh wait, what would you rate this movie though?
Ooh. Oh.
I did like a lot of its try to, do something different. Even though there was like no payoffs to it, I was like, okay, well they're trying to do something new in a way.
What did you like that they were trying to do new specifically?
I like how they mentioned that they brought back like the dinosaurs to its original kind of like form of like how dinosaurs its pure
no more
so there's
genetic.
No genetic like,
I liked that all the
it.
dinosaurs there were actual dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Genetic freaks, although technically they're all genetic freaks, which is
so there wasn't like any sort of like a raptor mutation,
right,
or anything like that.
True.
So for me, that was probably like the best part about it. And I liked seeing like those old dinosaurs like back to its like kind of its original form, because it shows like they can be scary, because like he dives into the water and like swims and stuff, and I'm just like, that's probably because of his feathers that he has, that raptors actually originally has, compared to like
and it
those ones that are like featherless.
And it was based on like a raptor that's found like at a different point in time.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So those kind of I did like that, and I did like um, at least kind of tying off like the human clone thing and giving that
Thank
more of like a
goodness.
full circle. Because to me, I was just like, why did they even introduce this in the second one? I didn't like her stepping in though and be like, hey, to like the little
To the
baby,
little baby raptor.
one. But I did like also like Malcolm's comments of just all like, is that a baby raptor strapped to the back of your, you know?
I did
so
like Malcolm's.
There were a little bit of a lighter
comedic
tone to
relief.
it, and overall, I was just like, yeah, this is entertaining, and there's like cool parts to it and stuff, and so for me, I think it was just an average of like a 5 out of 10. It barely hit that entertainment level.
Yeah, I feel
that
like
it needed to.
I feel like everything worth watching happens in the second half of the film for me.
Yeah.
Like the first half of the film
First half
is
of the film
not
is not
really. And I guess I give it a 6 just because I want to give it more than Fallen Kingdom.
Well,
because I do like
right.
some of the interactions between like the legacy characters.
I do like this more than Fallen Kingdom.
Same.
So that's why it was a 5.
Same.
The reason why it's a 5 because they set everything up, but they never really had a payoff to to any of its parts that they set up.
In Fallen Kingdom or this one?
In this one.
Yeah.
And then when they introduce like those old, like the Alan, Malcolm, and Ellie, they just throw them into the mix. They don't really have like a character development to them.
No, not really.
And stuff, and
but
there's no teaching lesson.
I did kind of like seeing them.
I did like
seeing
those dinosaurs in like the caves with like the huge spines.
Dimetrodon.
The Dimetrodons.
Yeah,
I didn't even know
cool.
that. Yeah, those are great.
I was like a dinosaur nerd as a kid. Like
so, I know like those are like the real dino. I just don't. I'm not good with names, so that's my issue. I knew what they are, but I just don't know their names.
Yeah, no, I know. I know some of the names.
But yeah, that's kind of like the reason why it's a 5 out of a 10.
Is because of the characters and
the
ideas.
At least like the ideas.
There were some cool
in,
ideas in there,
which was like, at least to me, I was like, oh, those are at least they're trying to make it a little bit more original or new, or just like cool in general. But the reason why it stays a 5 because there's not really a tie-in to the end with any of it.
Yeah.
And the characters that they did bring that had something or had weight to the franchise, they're just like, oh, let's just.
Now you make me want to make Fallen Kingdom a 5 and this a 5.5 because I feel like that makes more sense. Because I feel like 6 feels like too high, but I also want it higher than Fallen Kingdom just because I feel like as disjointed as it is, I feel like it's a more enjoyable film.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like you said, it has some new ideas, some cool set pieces and whatnot. But it's just kind of a mess.
It is,
and it's got the whole fast-paced action thing going on to a T. So
okay, I'm glad I'm kind of swaying you with my discussions.
To go lower.
So last we'll finish it off with Jurassic World Rebirth, the most recent one. Starting with from what we've seen, does Rebirth feel like a fresh start for the franchise or just another attempt to cash in on nostalgia? Nostalgia.
It was kind of a mixed bag for me. There are things I like about Rebirth, and there's things I don't like about Rebirth.
Okay.
I like that it's somewhat of a standalone film. I kind of don't like the premise of the film. So maybe like I feel like it could be a step in the right direction if they rectify some of the problems with this one going forward if they're gonna keep making Jurassic Park films, and I feel like I can't stop them. So
For those who have, I think I know which ones worked for you, which ones didn't, honestly. But kind of just moving on, because I kind of have the same feeling with it, so there's not really for me to kind of just add on to what you just said. What do you think the future of the franchise should focus on? Is it more spectacle, deeper storytelling, or just balance of both? Like, what do you think is missing in the formula?
Deeper storytelling.
Okay.
Yeah,
for sure. Obviously, this whole time storytelling was lost after the first one.
Sure.
Kind of brought back by the third one, but it still kind of wasn't there yet. But
exactly.
I agree. There should be a part of like storytelling, but I think at this point, being that they're making such grand, dinosaurs that are like super scary and that sort of stuff, get rid of the kids. I think that's a formula that did great back in the day, but now doesn't need to happen anymore.
And I'll say something else. I'll say get rid of the mutant dinosaurs. I'm done.
Oh yeah.
I'm done. I mean, I know technically all the dinosaurs are mutants because they had to fill in the genetic code, but this whole thing with like these super mutant freak dinosaurs, it feels like a different kind of film.
It looks like Alien.
It does, and it feels like a dragon, and the way
that
way it moves and behaves, it didn't feel like a dinosaur.
Is this going to be a Fast and Furious and a G.I. Joe crossover that they're going to do?
Yeah, don't get me started on the D-Rex.
Like
the D-Rex. Oh, it's so stupid.
It was ugly.
It was so ugly.
Oh,
and it just moves like more like a monster. You know what I mean? It's kind of this plotting thing that is fast when it needs to be and slow when it has to be, or when the plot demands it. And it felt so much more like a monster than an animal. And
I love how you said that. When the plot demands it.
When the plot demands it.
Oh my god.
And it resembled like some alien creature from like a Guardians of the Galaxy film that they encounter on an alien planet or something. It had like that kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Or it looked like something, actually, or like one of those mutants out of like a Resident Evil film where they get to be like these big hulking.
Yeah. No more mutant.
No more mutant dinosaurs, please.
No more mutant raptors, T-Rex. We don't care about that.
The raptor / pteranodon thing was okay.
This is the funny part. So to me, I'm just like, go one way or another.
I agree.
Like if you're going to go like mutant dinosaur things, like,
have it be in outer space.
Have it like 5 mouths. Like make it disgustingly like a mutation.
Right.
I don't need it to be. Does that make sense? Yeah. It doesn't need eyes anymore because like it's evolved from like not even having to use eyes. Like it's now kind of like using bat sonar radar thing where it can like like something like If you're gonna go that way, go hard that way. Like go 100% full gas. Like
and then
down.
Don't make it Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Though. Make it like Pitch Black or something. Like Chronicles of Riddick 5 or something. Because every one of those movies they have like a new creature that has some kind of
something like that. Yeah. Well, I mean that's where you can have Vin Diesel come in and just
you're right. That's the Fast and Furious crossover.
Just like have a car just like impact the dinosaur and stuff. And you're like, don't mess with my family.
Yes, the crossover we didn't know we needed. Oh man,
it's getting to that point where it's like
it is getting to that point.
It's like it's ridiculous. Like
I do appreciate that they. Go ahead.
If it gets to that point where it's like, okay, it's that ridiculous enough, I'll watch it just because like I'm going to make fun of the movie.
Sure.
And I'm going to have fun making fun of the movie.
Yeah. Absolutely. You got to do that, right?
But it's on that line where I'm just like, dude, pick one way or the other. Like,
pick a lane, yeah.
I can't, like, I'm just going to hate it if you're going to stay on this.
One thing I liked about this movie was the pacing was a little bit slower. It didn't have like, it didn't feel quite as actiony as the three previous Jurassic World movies?
Dominion.
Yeah.
I feel like
it was a bit more
Dominion
of a return to form in terms of taking its time with things. And they did.
But they could have done better with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think they could have just cut out the whole. Why does the family have to be there?
I knew the family was gonna get.
Why does the family have to?
I
be
know
there?
they shoehorn the family in, and they just.
There's
the way that they did
no
it
point.
was clearly like, they're like, oh, it's Jurassic Park. We gotta have
Terrible
kids.
father, worst father of the year.
Takes them into Mosasaurus.
Yeah, I mean, he knows like that. I would be like, dude, there's dinosaurs in the ocean now. Why would you even try to go in the ocean anymore?
Yeah.
Or even sell a mini boat on the ocean.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy was. He was like,
I mean,
discount Pedro Pascal.
I like the actor. He's great, and I liked, how he at least portrayed the father. But how they wrote the father, worst father of the year, and all the side kids too. The druggy kid who's like just pretending to be a druggy kid
with a heart of gold or whatever.
Yeah. It's like the oldest daughter that is
so over this,
trying to be is trying to like is trying too hard.
Yeah, there were some
and then the
cliches
little
in there
girl
for
that
sure.
just I don't even understand why
Dora
the
the
little
Explorer
girl was there.
With the tiny dinosaur.
To me, honestly, it could have just been a whole movie about a heist. Like heisting those dinosaurs and that thing, and exploring the different like dinosaurs, and kind of really getting into like the nitty gritty of like 1v1, or like a crew v like dinosaur kind of thing.
Yeah, and
handling the environment in that way. If the movie was just entirely of that, great.
Yeah.
A dinosaur heist movie, like sick.
Yeah, I agree. It was like, it could have been. There were some cool moments that I liked. Like, were those Spinosauruses that were hunting them in the water? They were, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of cool because they aren't. As we know from like the third one, and if you look into like what they know about dinosaurs, they were also like amphibious, right? So when they need to be, because remember they were like they can't come. They were talking about the Mosasaurus. They're like the Mosasaurus can't swim in shallow waters. But the Spinosaurus just could have all just like come up out of the water and eaten them all, like instead of just the one girl that it ate and then left. And once again, they played it safe with like only villains dying and people that we barely knew. Like, I have to say I did like the whole sequence with the T-Rex and the little girl.
Oh
and
no,
the
that's.
raft.
To me, I did not.
No, I mean the setup was kind of ridiculous, but it was kind of fun to watch. The
two rocks are going to stop the T-Rex.
Well, the end, yeah, but and her surviving it was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. I hated all of the scenes that all of them, like even like the guy taking a piss, and then all of a sudden like he's being stalked by this dinosaur, and then all of a sudden something like swoops him before he gets like pounced on. And stuff. I was just like, oh my god, like I don't need to watch this.
It was so playing it
let's
safe.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to Scarlett, even though I didn't like Scarlett Johansson's character, but I liked her crew that she was with. And I thought that's something that like was
I like
great.
Mahershala Ali's.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, and I like his concern for his crew that were just fodder for getting picked off by dinosaurs because we didn't know their backstory, so they were just expendable. And I like that they had somewhat tried to develop the characters. It was a bit like of an info dump, you know, and a vague tragic backstory. But at least they tried to do something. I feel like they could have executed it better. They could have done it better
if they got rid of the family.
Exactly.
Spend time less on
the family. But then
they
wouldn't show that guy was villainous by not pulling her up, you know?
I'm pretty sure he could have been...
I feel like he was...
At some point, there could have been a reveal that he's, like, villainous in a way.
I feel like they tried to make him a little too... I don't know. Like it was like he had to die.
There are other ways of being villains besides trying to kill off a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
You can just try to kill off one of the crew members.
Or like at the end. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or, I don't know. I thought they would have had to deal with him themselves at the end when they were coming to that whole decision as to whether or not to give it to him or not. You know, like some Telltale video game or something. Do you give it to him? Do you... Like, I thought they were going to have to deal with that moral dilemma, but they just didn't have to because he was gone out of the picture. Yeah. So I thought that was a weird choice. And then that whole scene with the D-Rex and him, like driving the car that's making the noise that he couldn't get to shut up and then eating him.
Yeah, the D-Rex escaping all because of a wrapper of a Snickers
It was all stupid. Yeah, that ugh.
Oh, what great product placement there. And it's just like,
I don't know. Do you want your Snickers to be? But no, that whole setup was asinine because like the idea that this whole facility would be undermined by that. Yeah, and the whole idea they had to have another island where they had all the genetic freaks. Uggo Island, as people call it. Like it could have just been another one. It could have just been like one of the same islands again.
One of the same islands.
Yeah, or a completely different island.
And just a heist.
Yeah, and just a heist.
Yeah, that would have been great.
And
make it simple.
And have some like people we care about get killed. I hate to say it because I feel like that's the risky thing to like create some dramatic stakes. You know, have somebody we care about get killed.
Yeah. After 6 films and a reboot era, what lessons should Hollywood take from the successes and failures of Jurassic franchise?
Oh boy, I'd say
I think we kind of went over that pretty.
Yeah, I'd say like story is king and stop making Jurassic Park movies. Let them die.
At least have like a good, just overall like main story to it. Like I said, if it's like if you were going at a heist, direction, which you were, make it a heist movie.
Yeah.
Don't try to mix in all these other things to it.
Yeah.
So if you have one idea, stick to it, and make it and polish it and make it nice, and just make that your gem.
I agree.
Kind of thing.
I feel like all you need is a simple story told well with good pacing.
Yeah.
And dramatic development.
I mean, even
you don't need all this other stuff.
Even like a bad idea, you can polish it to becoming like a good idea.
That's true.
In the end, you just put time and effort into just focusing on that one thing. That would be my lesson to you, Hollywood. Which I'm coming for you one day. Promise you that.
I want to ask one of the questions you asked earlier.
Yeah.
If it's okay. Yeah. What do you think the lesson was of this last film?
I don't think there was a lesson.
There was like a moral, because it was like the whole bringing the blood to like the...
Eat Snickers at a research facility.
It was like the cure for heart disease or something, remember? The cure belongs to the world and not some, I don't know, like greedy, rich
I feel like
pharmacy executive.
I feel like there are other movies or shows that even touched on that.
Sure.
Like way earlier.
And do better job of it.
I mean, Family Guy did that whole thing with having already like developed cancer, but
yeah. No, it was pretty weak.
But not releasing it, to the world because of money.
Right. I mean, I'd believe it.
I
if they
still
developed a cure
think
for cancer.
that for that it's still kind of like a cliche, like corporate
Totally.
kind of greed. Like,
Yeah, it was kind of go back to the same old thing that they did with the second one and even the third one.
Yeah.
Or the
honestly, I think it would have been good to have like not even have the billionaire
be
there to, you know, promote this idea. Instead, like, you're just having like some people, you know, mercenaries come up with the idea of just like, you know what would make us rich, let's do this kind of thing, and then pay the price for it kind of stuff. I think that would
also the whole idea that I found it, I thought the story was kind of weird and it's dumb.
So
also we went back to that whole thing that people are bored of dinosaurs, which I thought was kind of ridiculous. But like the whole idea that they're like, hey, let's cure this thing and then charge people a bunch of money from it. I'm like, I don't even think they'd bother. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they could already just like give people something that doesn't work and then just keep their money. You know what I mean? It seemed like a little too optimistic.
Yeah, they were also trying to. Yeah, they were also trying to go for the biosyn kind of thing too, because that was their whole objective.
Yeah.
In the end, it's like, we're gonna find and use like these genetic blood of these dinosaurs to try to solve. Yeah, so I'm just like, you're still kind of playing off of, you know, the previous ones.
What did you think of the what was it, the Quetzalcoatlus or something, that the huge bird dinosaur?
Oh, I love. Well, they're just,
because that was a bit different.
Yeah, I didn't like him. I didn't like the dinosaurs. Besides maybe the Spinosaurus in this film, any of the other dinosaurs I didn't really care about.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because the Spinosaurus, it's like, it actually felt like a Spinosaurus, while the other ones on this island just showed that they were just so genetically altered that, like, you know, they're just over exaggerated.
I felt like the bird dinosaur, what's it called? What was it? Quetzalcoatlus or something. Anyway, I felt like that was the exception, because I felt like that's just a real dinosaur. Like, because they showed it in the museum. That giant one.
Well, I mean, didn't they show that in the Dominion one when that attacked the plane? Wasn't that the same thing, or was that different?
It might have been the same thing.
So, I mean, like, I like that version better than the one on the island.
Than the way it was like came up when the guy was like, they were trying to pull up the guy and he was just gobbling him up as it comes up around the. That was kind of fun, but and then they go down that. They go into that cave and then suddenly they're at the bottom.
Suddenly at the bottom.
Suddenly at the bottom.
There's like a whole tunnel system.
It's like, why didn't you just go in that way to get the egg? That seemed a bit convenient.
So what you've seen so far, does Rebirth seem to have a clear vision than Dominion, or is it still struggling with direction?
I feel it's still struggling with direction.
I think it is. I think at this point, everybody thinks that their idea is the best, even though it's not.
I liked that it was a little simpler of an idea than Dominion. Like you said, it could have been even more simpler if they cut out the family.
But the thing is that I think it gets to the point where they're just like, go back to the original source, maybe ask or get advice from Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
although he made Lost World, so
but Lost World was like a 7 out of 10.
That's true.
The Jurassic World series have been, like, if you try to average it out, it's been like a 6, like a 5.5 to like a 6 out of 10 like series, which like it's lost its thing. And to me, I think Jurassic World was even worse. I mean, sorry, Jurassic World Rebirth was even worse
than Dominion
and Fallen Kingdom.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
But
you disliked it that much.
However, they had so much potential,
Yeah.
and I kind of, yeah. Anyway, I think I rated it. Skipping to it, I rated it to like a 4 out of 10, kind of the same thing as Fallen Kingdom.
Okay.
Because like, I don't think they had any original ideas as well.
No, I think I liked it a little better than you did. I think I enjoyed I don't know, it wasn't really back to basics.
The T-Rex sleeping and her trying to get that raft. I'm just like, just leave.
The raft?
There's no point in having a raft in the first place.
I don't like how the T-Rex just disappeared.
Yeah. And then,
Did you see how
and then reappeared.
Yeah. Well, they keep doing that. Like
I
the T-Rex.
I actually didn't mind that the T-Rex was able to swim. That part was cool.
No, that is actually something
that's something
rooted
that's
in reality.
Like,
yeah. No, there was some tension in the scenes. I feel like it could have paid off a bit more. I feel like the family thing, should like been its own film, almost. Yeah, it was like there were almost 2 films going on.
So that's where that's why it's a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't like how the D-Rex once again just appears places, like where the guy's like with the flare, and suddenly it's just like right there, and
then he survives.
Yeah, and he survives, but the helicopter.
How does he survive?
Yeah, Hollywood magic.
Oh man!
So I'd give it a 6.
The whole helicopter thing too, like.
Yeah, that was.
Go to the helicopter.
That was silly. The way it just snatched out of the sky, which we didn't see, of course.
Yeah.
Because
now we have to take the raft, and then. There's no Spinosauruses out there anymore.
But there is.
We're able to survive on this raft with this.
That was something somebody
raft.
brought up. They're like, aren't the Spinosauruses still infesting those waters that they're going to in this raft? They're all gonna die. Like.
Okay, so, what do you hope Rebirth does differently in terms of characters compared to the other?
Well, I hope if they continue making movies, that they do something kind of like Rebirth in terms of like a story with a bit of like a narrower scope.
I do
and
agree.
A tighter storyline.
I don't.
And a little bit slower pacing that doesn't rely on a bunch of action and like grandiose schemes, like Dominion did. That I liked about it. So
I just hope that it doesn't turn into like a revenge story.
A revenge story?
Yeah.
Revenge on whom?
Well, because I know that they're bringing Scarlett Johansson back to like.
Oh, they're doing another one.
Another one.
Revenge for what?
Why are you bringing back Scarlett Johansson?
Oh man! Oh boy! Yeah.
Right. Like the only reason
she was okay.
She would be back would be like.
Yeah.
Just like
She wasn't even the best character.
She wasn't even the best character.
That goes to Ali for definitely.
Gosh. Do you think the audiences are still excited about dinosaur blockbusters, or is the franchise in danger of losing relevance?
I think it might be in danger of losing relevance, but what do the box office numbers reflect?
The box office number reflects that it's not.
That's not?
Yeah, the people are still excited about it.
Well, that's kind of encouraging in a way. I mean, that goes back to the thing that dinosaurs are still fun,
But there was no real dinosaurs in there.
Well, they didn't know that going into it. There's a Spinosaurus. They were a real dinosaur.
That was the only one.
There was a Mosasaurus. That was a real dinosaur.
The Mosasaurus was, I feel like, wasn't even to the original.
No, I know. I think he should just like eaten the whole boat or something.
Yeah.
The way that he behaved in the original.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of made it grow 10 times more than it actually did. Because like there was a shot I think in one of the Jurassic Worlds where like it's swimming with the whales. It was
Yeah.
like just barely like bigger than the whales.
Yeah, and then this thing, it was like
It's
huge.
just huge.
Yeah.
I was like, did it go on a eating spree or something like throughout this time and it just grew that big? Like,
Well, when it in the was it in this movie?
in this movie, there was like one of those like,
No, it was in Fallen Kingdom where they show it eating like that little submarine in the beginning. Remember?
yeah, but even then, like submarine had fit 2 people. It's like
That's
pretty
true.
small.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, not an entire
Yeah.
boat with like 8. Yeah, and that boat was pretty big too. Like,
Yeah,
Um,
it's decent size.
yeah. But like those long neck dinosaurs, like fake.
The
like
Titanosaurs.
They're not that big.
Did you look that up? Because I did not look that up.
I know that they're like in that film, like they're way over exaggerated.
They made them huge. Yeah. They were kind of cool to look at.
The birds,
Titanosaurs.
the birds are. I'm pretty sure were also like not that.
Well, at the end they had a whole thing. I didn't realize this because I was a little disappointed that they didn't do the classic thing of having. Well, actually, they didn't do this in Dominion either. They didn't really have any like raptor showdowns at the end, which is fine. You don't need to rely on tropes, but instead they had those. What were they called? Those flying, like raptor-like flying dinosaurs. I guess they were supposed to kind of be like raptors.
The new raptors.
They were like stocking them in the convenience store and stuff. Those were weird. I don't know how I feel about those things.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. But I guess they were also some kind of mutant freak, right?
Yep. Which makes sense because they did introduce it to being like, oh, this island is all just like a bunch of mutant freaks. It's like a mutant lab.
True.
But
But
in the
it
end,
didn't
I'm just
quite
like,
work.
you're still
Yeah.
you're still on that line.
Yeah.
So if you're going to just pick a lane, like
Pick a
seriously.
lane. Yeah, I could have done without any
That's
mutants.
where I'm just like, you're calling it Jurassic World and it's not even a Jurassic. There's no real dinosaurs.
There's no real dinosaurs.
in there. Why would you even stamp it as a Jurassic World or Jurassic
It could just
Park
be like those Predator
saga?
movies where he's on some like hostile planet with
That's
just random
that's-
aliens.
That's where I'm trying.
Yeah, like Predator Badlands or whatever.
yeah, they're bringing Predator back. Is Predator going to be a crossover in this new film with Scarlett Johansson? The next one.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Stay tuned. We'll find out.
Well, what do you rate it? What do you rate this movie? I kind of gave my pitch is a 4 out of.
I give
just
it a,
below
I give it a
average.
6.
I would not recommend this film.
I give it a 6. I do recommend this film. I think it's worth watching. I thought it was enjoyable, but I feel like it had
The
some
payoff
issues.
of the D dinosaur.
I
coming
really
in
don't like the
end,
D-Rex though. Yeah,
like-
that's my least favorite part of the film is the end.
It was cool leading up to like the heist, like the issues and like how they went about with the heist of like capturing the blood and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know, it was a cool way of like a new integrative way instead of like poaching them.
Yeah,
You know, and stuff.
yeah, that was kind of cool.
Like I thought that part.
And the delivery
was
system
great.
with them like flying up in the air,
Yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah.
parachutes and stuff.
I thought that whole thing was great, and they should have just focused on that. But
Like it was an original idea too.
even then, I feel like that was not even 50% of the movie. It was like way less than that. So
And what did you think about the Alan Grant stand-in character?
oh,
Basically.
him and that chews really loud on mints. And
Yeah, what's with the Altoids thing?
I think they were trying to make him quirky and like didn't know what kind of quirk to kind of give him.
What
and
quirk
stuff.
to give him? He
Being
was
that
alright.
He was like supposed to be like a nerd
Yeah.
and a geek. But I'm just like, if you know dinosaurs, you know that those aren't real dinosaurs. It's like, why are you awing over something that I think at that point, like, if you love dinosaurs so much, then like love the originalness of dinosaurs instead of like.
Well, no, all the dinosaurs that they were hunting for the blood were actual dinosaurs. I'm pretty sure. You can look at it like Titanosaurus, Quetzalcoatlus
Yeah.
and Mosasaurus. What was the other one? There were only 3. Right?
Yeah, there was just 3 of them.
It was King of the Land,
But
King of the Sea.
I mean, they could have done like way more dinosaurs to kind of keep that heist going.
I think it was just the D-Rex and those weird flying things that were the mutants, which is why begs the question: why have mutants at all? Like you could have just had a normal. It's like we're saying dinosaurs aren't enough, which is like what they were saying in the first Jurassic World. It's like kids don't care about dinosaurs. We need some mutant freak dinosaurs in order to make things interesting, but. And they could have just brought back Gigantosaurus instead of the D-Rex, and I would have liked that better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I think that thing had extra arms and stuff. Did you see that? It had 4 arms.
Yeah, 4 arms and everything. Yeah.
Didn't even move very fast.
The beginning too of the whole setup of like it kind of breaking out of its like cage and stuff kind of felt very alien-esque as well. So that's where I was just like...
Or like an alien ripoff.
Yeah. Just like, okay, well, it's not even a Jurassic World movie at this point. So...
Yeah. That was my least favorite part of the film,
and,
I would say.
You know, that's going to be like your climax. And like, you know, I think... I don't even think it deserves like an average score from me because of that. I think the D dinosaur just really turned me off that much.
I knew that was going to be a point for you.
Yeah.
And the family.
And the family.
Yeah.
Which took most of the screen time, which I don't think it should have. But I'm a little bit harsher than most. So, and I know
Fair.
that. I know that for sure.
Fair.
And I think I have to be harsh because no one's being harsh
No,
on Hollywood.
That's true. No, you're right. You're right, actually. I feel like it was an improvement from the direction of Dominion. In some ways.
At least they kind of narrowed it down to, you know, instead of throwing all these ideas, it was just like, okay, let's throw in this idea and this idea.
Yeah.
You know,
I felt like it was a little bit more restrained, but
they kind of filtered it out a little bit better.
Yeah,
for sure.
It felt a little less Marvel-y to me, which is like a term that I like to throw around.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for watching. This was a really long podcast.
There was a lot of movies.
I actually had a lot of fun discussing this with you, Ian.
Yeah, likewise.
Catch us next time. Keep following us. Subscribe. We love the support. We love you guys as the audience if you are watching. And take care. Have a good
thanks so much.
Good night.